Ha Li Ha was an outstanding Special Forces sniper. He was famous on the base for his marksmanship, never missing a shot, even though he was only a sergeant first class. But Leah stunned his superiors, as his shooting skills surpassed even those of other veteran Special Forces soldiers. They had a sniping test coming up, and Leah was training with all his might, determined to win that competition. However, fate has a cruel sense of humor. Right before the test, Leah had an accident, and unfortunately his legs were injured. The injury was so severe that Leah couldn't walk. Every day he was lost in a struggle between effort and despair. And then today, in a daze, Leah thought he heard a voice whispering in his ear, "Don't you wish you could walk again? If you make a pact with me, I will let you walk again." That mysterious force reached its hand out to Leah. Trembling, he wanted to place his hand on it. Can you really help me walk again?" Just as their hands were about to touch, Leah suddenly woke up. "What's wrong? Were you having a nightmare?" A familiar face was right in front of Li Ha's, startling him. Wasn't this his damn cousin? "Damn it, you scared the hell out of me. What's the matter? Have you already forgotten your own cousin's face? You must be really tired, huh? You didn't even realize I moved you." The young man shook something that looked like a helmet in his hand. It was only then that Li Ha realized he wasn't in his bed, but in some kind of pod-like machine. His cousin said it was the new, popular full-dive gaming helmet. Since Li Ha was sleeping so soundly, his cousin had assembled it himself and placed him inside. "You bought this thing without even asking me? And you put it in my room yourself? Don't worry, it was Auntie's decision. This thing only cost 10 million won. 10 million won and you use the word only?" Li Ha was truly impressed by his cousin's optimism. Besides, his family wasn't that wealthy. He had no idea where his mom dug up the money to buy this useless thing. His cousin brushed all that aside, telling Li Ha not to worry about the money and just focus on experiencing this virtual reality game. After all, he'd been depressed since the accident and couldn't even find a job, as family. How could they not be worried? Besides, this game isn't useless. Talented players can even earn a lot of money in it. Even so, how could you guys spend 10 million won so thoughtlessly? Li Ha was still trying to resist as his cousin put the gaming helmet on his head. "Hey, don't you want to be able to walk again?" His cousin leaned in and whispered in his ear. Li Ha froze at those words. They were exactly the same as in his dream earlier. The kid said this thing could help him walk again, and so Li Ha finally decided to give it a try. The system quickly verified his voice and transported him to a completely new world. Li Ha felt as if he were in a free fall, and more importantly, he landed firmly on 2 feet. This feeling, it was just too real. He didn't just fall from the sky into the middle of nowhere. He was also standing steady on his own 2 feet. Then Leah heard a clear, melodic voice as a beautiful red-haired girl appeared. "Outsiders are always welcome. Blessings upon you who have set foot in the middle world." Leah's ears were ringing. For a moment, he couldn't understand what she was saying. Just then, Li Ha suddenly felt a cool breeze all over his body. It turned out he wasn't wearing any clothes. The young man immediately panicked, but the red-haired girl just giggled. "Men from East Asia always strike that pose, don't they? I've seen it many times, so don't worry." This was clearly a game world, yet she was communicating with Li Ha so smoothly, as if she had a mind of her own. He immediately realized this was an AI guide. "Not bad, right?" the girl asked again. "Now tell me your name in this new life. Here in this world, the middle world." It seemed the girl was asking Li Ha to choose a username, and after some thought, he decided to just use his real name, Ha Li Ha. He also decided to keep his real appearance. The girl seemed a little surprised. In this world, people could change their face, height, or even their race. Li Ha was the first person to decide to keep everything the same. "Are you sure?" she asked again. "Yes," Leah answered firmly. "It feels so real. Standing on 2 feet like this? I want to walk through this world." "I see. A person from another world, huh, Leah? Congratulations on taking your first step into the central world." The other person waved their hand, and a simple magical set of clothes appeared on Leah. "It's just like a world of magic." The girl also said that Li Ha could achieve anything he wanted through this place, and she would wait for the day they could meet again. Just like that, Li Ha was thrown into freefall once more. This time, it was confirmed that he was truly falling into the game world he was meant to be in. He was sure he was going to land on his head. But after a while, when nothing happened, he timidly opened his eyes and found himself standing in the middle of a plaza. People bustled back and forth, and everything around him was so realistic it made him wonder if this was really just a game, or if it was truly another world that existed. Li Ha spread his hand and observed it closely. Even the calluses on his hand were exactly the same as in the real world. This was his body and also his character in the game. Li Ha recalled the red-haired girl's words. The ability to change his face, body, and even his race was certainly an attractive offer, but he just wanted to feel what it was like. Back when he could still run and jump, Li Ha stomped his feet in place a few times, then started swinging his arms and legs, kicking this way and that. This feeling was just too real, even though in reality he couldn't walk. But here he could run and jump freely. The fact that his 2 legs could move made Li Ha so emotional he trembled. And while he was lost in this feeling of happiness, he suddenly heard a voice from behind him. "Moved to that extent, are you? I've met a lot of people in this Middle-earth castle. but this is the first time I've seen someone as pure as you. The blonde man introduced himself as someone who helps guests adapt to this world of Middle-earth. It sounded fancy, but Lee Ha realized he was just a tutorial NPC. So what do I need to know to adapt to this world? Leah immediately asked. Seeing that he was such an enthusiastic player, the other guy got excited too. So he started pointing out a few things to pay attention to. First, everyone knows that people can't run continuously forever. If you don't rest properly, you won't even be able to move. That's the stamina stat in this game. Next, the man pointed to a beautiful little girl holding a basket of apples standing not too far away. Then he made an unreasonable request to Lee Ha. At first, he thought he had misheard, but then the man mechanically repeated the request. So Lee Ha pinned him to the ground and started cursing, "Hey, you bastard! That's illegal, you know." Turns out, even NPCs in games can be jokers. The guy was just giving an example to tell Lee, that you have to have morals in Middle-earth too. If you commit a major crime, you'll be exiled to the countryside and even fined. And the person who receives the money in the newbie tutorial is this very NPC. I just said that because I wanted you to know, the guy said. Leah pouted. How kind of you. If he had actually done what the guy said, wouldn't that have been like digging his own grave? Ha, you catch on quick. The blonde guy waved his hands and gave a fake smile, but in reality, he was dying of regret for not being able to trick Lee Ha out of his money. He felt that this game was truly no different from the real world. Even the NPCs acted autonomously and had their own personalities, just like real people. After that, the guy told him to head to the northern training grounds. There, Lee Ha would learn more lessons for newbies. Lee Ha looked to the north, and sure enough, there was a very long road. So he stretched and then took off running down the road at full speed. For other people, running fast does nothing but make them tired, but for Lee Ha, it was different. Only by moving his body according to his will like this, did he feel like he was truly alive. Lee Ha laughed out loud as he ran, so much so that other players who saw him thought there was something wrong with his head. Lee Ha kept running until he received a notification. He had acquired a new passive skill called Swift Runner. Because Lee Ha had been running so fast, the system automatically activated a 0% stamina consumption, which led to unlocking this skill. Its effect at level 1 was the ability to run continuously for 5 minutes without consuming stamina, while also increasing running speed by 7%. Lee Ha didn't think that just by simply running, he would also get experience points and a new skill, but he was really happy. In that case, he decided to run straight to the training grounds. When he arrived in front of the northern training area, Lee Ha felt a strangely familiar atmosphere. It was like when he was still in the army. In the training area, many players were also practicing with wooden dummies. Leah also picked up a wooden sword and prepared to experience the feeling of being a new recruit again. But what surprised him was that when he prepared to attack, his body moved automatically. This must be the combat assist system, he thought. Lee Ha turned to observe the other players. Sure enough, they all seemed to be swinging their swords very awkwardly. He got the feeling that the combat system was controlling all the players. But Lee Ha didn't like that. Wanting to gain control over himself, Lee Ha gripped the wooden sword tightly in his hand, thinking to himself that he just had to believe this was real, and that he had to truly attack his opponent. With that thought, Lee Ha struck once more, and this time, he actually broke free from the combat assist system's control, smashing the wooden dummy to smithereens. The other players who saw this could only stare with their jaws on the floor. Ma's agape, because Lee Ha's strike was far stronger and more decisive than theirs, even though he was just a newcomer. Whoa, he completely shattered the dummy! Did he really use the same attack as us? The one we just learned here? Then how come we can't do that? Share it with us. What move did you use just now? The others crowded around to ask, but in truth, Lee Ha had only used the standard new player attack, just like them. The only difference was that he used his own will. After defeating the dummy, Lee Ha received a new system notification congratulating him on completing his training, and without making a single mistake. However, the system also advised him not to get arrogant because of it, as great talent often invites great disaster. At the same time, it sent him a small reward of 3 stamina points and 2 intelligence points. Lee Ha felt the system was right. Standing out too much wasn't necessarily a good thing. After all, back in the day, the most talented soldiers were always the first to be sent to the front lines. After finishing this tutorial, Lee Ha was transferred to the class selection interface, and there he met the red-haired girl from before. She spoke as if it had been a long time since they'd last met. But it hasn't even been a day yet, Lee Ha said, greeting her. It's because Koreans grasp things so quickly. You must play games all day, huh? Anyway, model student of Candle Castle, what kind of weapon would you like to choose? At the girl's words, a pile of weapons appeared before Lee Ha. Choosing a weapon was tied to choosing a class, so he had to be extremely careful. Lee Ha had expected many types of weapons, but he never imagined there would be this many. The girl mentioned that some people had hesitated for a whole day before making their choice. The first thing that caught Lee Ha's eye was a staff, symbolizing the mage class. Before logging into the game, his cousin Ki Jong had told him to ignore all other weapons and choose the staff. But as Lee Ha was about to reach out and touch it, the red-haired girl advised him to calm down and slowly, carefully observe his surroundings. Lee Ha followed her advice and seemed to have discovered something more suitable for him. It was a musket. Without hesitation, Lee Ha immediately reached out and touched the gun. "I'm sure you know what kind of gun this is, right?" the AI girl asked playfully. But Lee Ha really did know. In fact, he knew it very well. It was definitely not a modern rifle. Although he didn't know its exact model, he was certain it was a flintlock musket, invented in the late 1700s, predating even Napoleon. Lee Ha's detailed explanation made the girl exclaim in admiration. As expected of the model student, his completely accurate answer proved, shame, that he knew a lot about guns and was more suited for the marksman position than anyone else. Lee Ha fiddled with the gun for a moment. It really did have a flint and a powder pan. He guessed its ammunition was either lead balls or iron shots. So he wanted to try firing at once, and the girl, of course, agreed. She provided Lee Ha with black powder for priming, black powder for the charge, an iron ball, and a ramrod. Lee Ha reached out for them. He thought to himself, thank goodness there are at least some advanced items. He felt incredibly excited to touch a gun again after so long. First, he put the priming powder into the powder pan. Then, he poured the main powder charge in, followed by the iron ball. Next, he used the ramrod to ensure the powder was packed tightly against the ball. The entire process took a full minute, which made Lee Ha want to collapse. He truly missed the advanced firearms of the 21st century. Moreover, this flintlock was very heavy, with a total weight of up to 4.5 kilograms. It was no different from lifting weights. Well, since it's loaded, I might as well fire it. Lee Ha raised the muzzle and aimed at a target 40 meters away. After he pulled the trigger, a thick cloud of acrid white gunpowder smoke billowed out, making Lee Ha's eyes sting. But the most serious problem was that he had missed. In the real world, Lee Ha had never missed at this range. The red-haired girl giggled and said he should read the instructions again, because the hit rate of a flintlock at a distance of 40 meters was only 50%. Lee Ha wasn't convinced. He decided to try again, going through the same loading process that took over a minute. This was enough to make Lee Ha want to cry his eyes out, but the girl thought that for a newcomer to fire a shot in under a minute was already quite good. Lee Ha was truly discouraged. He wanted to see other long-range weapons, but the only remaining choices were bows and crossbows, and their attack power was even weaker. Lee Ha felt that the game was way too unfair to marksmen. The flintlock did have strong attack power, but its attack speed was drastically slower than bows and crossbows. "What kind of ridiculous conditions are these?" he grumbled. "It's to maintain balance with the combat assist system," the girl replied. "So what if I turn the combat assist system off?" Lee Ha continued to ask. "I already said the combat assist system needs to be balanced." The other party just kept repeating her previous words. "If a player aims and fires manually, does the hit rate increase?" "I told you, the combat assist system needs to be balanced." By the third time, she seemed very annoyed. Clearly, they couldn't find any common ground in this conversation. Lee Ha realized this was something the system wouldn't tell him, which meant he had to find the answer himself, just like in real life, instead of asking an NPC or the system. Although it was a rough start, Lee Ha decided he would figure things out one by one if he could fire 10 shots a minute or increase his accuracy to 80%. Then the terrifying attack power of this musket could be fully utilized. Lee Ha decided to log out for a bit to think things over and look for more information on the game forums, but the girl refused his request. Because you can't log out in the middle of the class selection process. Only when this process was complete could he log out. In other words, the system wouldn't let him research which class would be the most beneficial. Seriously, what kind of game is this realistic? Lee Ha was miserable because he wasn't just playing for fun. This was supposed to be how he'd make money from now on. Shooting was his strength and passion, but if he couldn't overcome the musket's firing speed and accuracy issues, it would become useless. Therefore, Lee Ha really didn't dare to gamble his future. After a period of internal struggle, he made his decision. He would give up the musket and follow his cousin's advice. He'd choose the safe option, the mage class. However, just as he was about to touch the staff, his body was pulled out by an invisible force. "Lee Ha! Lee Ha! Wake up! Lee Ha!" He heard someone urgently calling his name. Lee Ha was still panting heavily. When the game helmet was removed, he saw his mother's worried face. It turns out she saw Lee Ha groaning so much that she unplugged the game console. That's why he was forcibly logged out of the game. At least he could temporarily escape choosing a class. "Are you okay, sweetie? Are you really okay?" Lee Ha's mother stroked his head like he was a child and kept asking. "Of course I'm fine. Next time just press the exit button to wake me up, okay?" His mom nodded, told him to get some proper rest, and then left for work. Luckily, his mom was there this time. Lee Ha felt that his chance to make money was within reach. He just had to be careful about choosing his class. Thinking about it, he started to worry again. Because that AI girl had said he had to complete the class selection to log out. So what would happen now that his class change process was interrupted? What was going to happen? So, Lee Ha decided to check the game forums. It turned out many people had been in the same situation, forcibly logged out due to power outages. Afterward, they ended up with the class they didn't want. And if you wanted to delete your character and create a new one, you'd have to wait 4 to 5 months to do it. After reading this, Lee Ha felt that what just happened wasn't lucky at all, but the greatest misfortune of his life. He tried to console himself, thinking he had already touched the staff. So when he logged back in, he would definitely become a mage. But when he logged back in, Lee Ha had become a musketeer. He practically cried his eyes out. The other players thought he was crazy. They had never even heard of this class before. But once you're in, you have to see it through. His mom had spent 10 million won to buy this machine. Only an idiot would wait another 4 to 5 months to create a new character. A musketeer it is, then. It wasn't the first time Lee Ha had held a gun anyway. After accepting this cruel fate of a class, he immediately learned 2 skills: musket mastery and bayonet charge. Musket mastery was a passive skill. The more he used the gun, the more proficient he became. It increased his accuracy and reloading speed. Bayonet charge was an active skill that allowed him to attach a mana bayonet to the musket for a final resort charge in battle. 30% of this musket's attack power is converted to melee attack power for 15 seconds. But this skill costs 50 mana and has a cooldown of a whole 5 minutes. Lee Ha once again fell into a pit of despair. Bayonet charge? What the hell is that? His current maximum mana was only 50 points, and this skill cost 50 mana per use. That meant if he missed his shot, he could activate the skill to use the bayonet, but only once. And if he missed with the stab too, he was finished. It's been a while, musketeer. In the midst of his despair, Lee Ha heard a voice from above. He knew full well it was the guide NPC again, but Lee Ha was in a terrible mood. He didn't have time to listen to him ramble. Just get to the point. What do I have to do? He cut the other person off. This NPC had probably never met a player as rude as him and was a bit taken aback. Then he issued Lee Ha a new quest, to hunt horned rabbits. Specifically, horned rabbits had appeared at the entrance of the beginner's village, Candle Castle, and were harming the crops and animals. His mission was to hunt them and collect 10 rabbit pelts. The rewards are a 10% increase in affinity with the NPCs of Candle Castle, a 10% increase in affinity with the guards of Candle Castle, and 50 copper. Everyone has to do the beginner quests. Lee Ha was no exception. When he arrived, there were quite a few other people hunting horned rabbits, and Lee Ha quickly found his first target. It was a harmless-looking rabbit chewing on some grass. He immediately took out his musket and skillfully loaded it, though not much faster than before. Then Lee Ha took careful aim at the rabbit and pulled the trigger. The gunpowder smoke was as thick as ever, temporarily blinding him. Lee Ha really hoped he had hit it. After all, he was only shooting from a distance of 35 meters. Unfortunately, Lee Ha missed again. What's worse, the bullet just made the rabbit furious. He watched as it charged towards him at breakneck speed. Lee Ha tried to reload as fast as he could to fight back, but even at his best, he couldn't keep up with the rabbit's speed. And so, while he was still loading the chamber, it landed a gut-wrenching kick on him. Damn it! This little demon might look small, but its strength is monstrous. A demon rabbit for sure. Lee Ha couldn't die such a humiliating death while reloading during the tutorial quest. So, he decided to grab his gun and run for his life. But unfortunately, the creature chasing Lee Ha was a being that could reach speeds of 80 kilometers per hour in short bursts, and trying to outrun it was completely useless. The damage force of a K2 rifle is 1,960 joules, while the damage from a kick from the demon rabbit was already 1,107 joules. In other words, getting hit by one of its kicks was equivalent to taking half a rifle bullet. Seeing Lee Ha get his ass kicked by the demon rabbit, the other players were very concerned. But they were all newbies too, so they couldn't spare the time to help him. Lee Ha could only struggle through this dire situation on his own. By now, Lee Ha's mana had dropped to half. If he didn't do something, he would definitely die in this ridiculously easy quest. So, in his most desperate moment, Lee Ha stood up. He treated the gun stock as a baseball bat, and the demon rabbit as a speeding baseball. Then, Lee Ha executed a perfect home run, sending it flying into the sky. After that, he leaned on his gun, too exhausted to even stand properly. Ha! A gun isn't just for shooting, you demon rabbit. Panting heavily, Lee Ha watched as the rabbit's figure became just a tiny dot in the sky. However, this was only a temporary solution, because right after that rabbit came back. And it was even more furious. The gun in Lee Ha's hands weighed 4.5 kilograms, so his movements were quite clumsy. And as expected, he took another hit from the demon rabbit. Neither side would back down, fighting so fiercely it was like the world was ending. The other players watching this scene felt depressed just looking at them. Is that really a way to catch a rabbit? Seriously, if you have a gun, wouldn't it be better to just be an ADC? They only said that because they couldn't understand Lee Ha's suffering. After a long struggle with that rabbit, he finally defeated it. But what made Lee Ha most miserable and heartbroken was that he hadn't landed a single shot. Forcing a marksman to fight a monster in close combat, the system was clearly discriminating against him. Watching the players with swords defeat demon rabbits in a single blow, Lee Ha couldn't help but feel jealous. But he decided he wouldn't surrender to this system. Lee Ha wanted to become the first person to beat this game with a gun. So after logging out, he looked up historical documents, meticulously researching the factors that affected the trajectory and speed of the bullets from that old-fashioned gun. First, he needed to measure the viable range. Because it was a flintlock rifle, it was hard to keep it steady while firing. If people in the past used it for combat, Then surely Lee Ha could also find a breakthrough with this gun. If he calculated the trajectory, the maximum range was about 350 meters, but the problem was the wind. Because of it, you couldn't produce bullets with identical flight paths down to the millimeter. And if he activated the combat support system, he could only fire 1 shot per minute, with a hit rate of only 50%. Lee Ha was tearing his hair out, unable to find a solution to this problem. Just then, his mother suddenly opened the door and came into his room with a heaping plate of fruit. She was so happy to see her son concentrating on his research and looking much more lively. She felt that buying him the game console was a brilliant decision and that she should have bought it for him sooner. After his mother returned to her room, Lee Ha continued his research on the flintlock rifle. Since his mother had spent 10 million won, he couldn't afford to be lazy. Even though he couldn't become a high-ranking officer in the army, he had to at least become someone who could earn a lot of money for his mother. In the game, just 20,000 gold could be exchanged for 2 billion won. By then, maybe he could have surgery and walk again in the real world. So, after a while of researching, Lee Ha logged back into the game. This time, players in the demon rabbit hunting area kept hearing gunshots. They seemed surprised that there was a gun in this area. After creeping closer to check it out, they saw Lee Ha seriously loading his gun and aiming at a wooden target. This time, his reloading speed had been shortened by 3 seconds. He seemed very happy about it, but in the eyes of others, Lee Ha was nothing but an idiot. Because it took him a whole minute to fire 1 shot, while in that amount of time, they could have easily hunted a rabbit. He'll probably quit the game soon. What a weirdo. Instead of hunting rabbits, he's shooting at trees. Let's just ignore him. They muttered to each other and left. Lee Ha, however, paid no attention to what others were saying, because he was still seriously calculating to figure out the principles of using this gun. Just now, Lee Ha had conducted a small experiment, and it closely matched his previous calculations. At this distance, the bullet marks were quite close together. The hit rate would surely be higher. After all, its destructive power was quite significant. A single bullet had a force of over 1,500 joules, so he had to use it effectively. Right now, Lee Ha had enough bullets and gunpowder left in his inventory for 23 more shots, and he quickly found a target for his next field test. Lee Ha seriously estimated the distance to be 130 meters. The wind was currently blowing from the west at a speed of 5 meters per second. The wind blew towards the target's position, and he had already plotted a suitable trajectory. Lee Ha began to load his gun, just as the rabbit sensed that someone was preparing to attack it. He seized the moment and fired, just like all the times before. The thick gunpowder smoke billowed out again, temporarily blinding Lee Ha, but this time, Lee Ha had a good feeling he'd hit it. And he was right, he did hit it. But the bullet only grazed the rabbit's hind leg, once again forcing Lee Ha into a situation where he had to use the butt of his gun for close combat just like last time. After a struggle, he managed to knock the rabbit out. Lee Ha wasn't discouraged and tried again with another target. This time, he really hit it. Moreover, he killed the target directly with his bullet on the very first shot. Lee Ha was ecstatic because the distance from his position to the target was at least 100 meters. It seemed his research wasn't useless after all. Ding! He immediately received a new notification. Thanks to his recent accomplishment, Lee Ha had unlocked an achievement, and at the same time, he entered the Hall of Fame. He excitedly opened his character sheet to check. Just from this one achievement, he had gained a whole 8 levels. That was the good news. The bad news was that the flint of his musket had been destroyed from overuse. So, Lee Ha had no choice but to switch to melee mode. If the butt of his gun could talk, it would probably be crying its eyes out from having to keep fighting hand to hand. At this rate, the gun butt might just snap in two. And because he'd been spending the last few days in the rabbit hunting grounds fighting with his gun butt, Lee Ha was given a nickname by the other players. They called him Bloody Gun Butt. They couldn't understand why this guy had a gun but didn't use it to shoot, resorting to such crazy tactics instead. Of course, it's not like Lee Ha wanted things to be this way. It took him a full minute to reload, but only 8 seconds to take down and catch a rabbit in melee. Saamko. Compared to shooting, fighting directly was definitely much faster. It was just a lot more tiring. Luckily, he managed to catch all 10 and complete the quest. Lee Ha leveled up from it, and the other players gathered around to congratulate him. In their eyes, Lee Ha was that weird guy who fought rabbits in close combat despite having a gun. Still, watching him hunt rabbits like that was pretty entertaining. When he returned to the square, many curious eyes turned towards him. It seemed his Bloody Gun Butt title had become famous in the beginner's village. But Lee Ha didn't pay them much mind. He was in a hurry to report his results, get his reward, and then buy supplies and practice more. The NPC, while giving him the coins, even asked, "Those vicious rabbits must be easy to catch, right?" Yeah, I guess that they were pretty easy," Lee Ha replied, lying through his teeth. "Do you want to go catch more?" the man asked again. But of course, Lee Ha never wanted to go through that miserable experience again. He received 50 coins, just as the quest description had stated. At the same time, his affinity with the NPCs in Candle Castle increased by 10%, and his affinity with the security team increased by 15%. Although 50 coins wasn't a lot, it gave Lee Ha a huge boost of motivation. He resolved that in the future, he would earn lots of gold. and lots of silver, then exchange it for real money to support his mother. Afterwards, Lee Ha took the rabbit meat to sell. Madame Lu at the Sacred Grill, a member of the giant race, offered him 7 copper per rabbit. Then, this NPC offered Lee Ha a proposal: stay and help out at her restaurant for a bit, specifically to grill meat and provide ingredients, just as he expected. It was another new quest that had just popped up. The objective was to cooperate in developing the Sacred Grill's new menu. The main requirement was 5 portions of undamaged rabbit meat and 1 portion of black-furred rabbit meat. The reward was a special lunchbox from Madame Lu's new menu. "What's a black-furred rabbit?" Lee Ha asked. "Oh my, among those aggressive rabbits, there's one with black fur. Its taste is absolutely divine, so you simply must try it," Madame Lu replied. Lee Ha figured it was probably just like a black pig or something. But since it was a special rabbit, hunting it would surely be harder than the other white ones. Even though the reward wasn't money, Lee Ha still decided to accept the quest. Madame Lu hurriedly grabbed his hand and instructed him, "Just hang a bag on the tree at the south gate. The rabbit will catch the scent and come sniffing around. When it does, all you need to do is give it a good poke, and you're done. Besides, it's only active at night, so you don't need to waste your energy during the day." But she wasn't done yet. She then pulled out a kitchen knife longer than a katana and threatened, "Don't you even think about trying to fool me with some subpar meat, because anyone who dares to mess with my food has ended up on the wrong end of this knife." Yes, of course, who would ever mess with you? Even if Lee Ha had any bad intentions, he would have dropped them the moment he saw that knife. So he had 50 copper from the previous quest's reward, plus 77 copper from selling the rabbit meat, for a total of 1 silver and 27 copper. Lee Ha took this money to buy gunpowder and pellets first. However, the cost of ammunition was much more expensive than he had imagined. A bag of gunpowder was 10 copper, a bag of priming powder was 5 copper, and a single pellet was 3 copper. The total for the amount he wanted to buy came to 1 silver and 26 copper. The shop owner said that because of these high prices, nobody becomes a musketeer these days, except for a fool like Lee Ha. He was truly devastated. A single shot cost 18 copper. Where on earth is a musketeer supposed to get that kind of money? It's so hard to make money playing the game like this. He didn't know how he was going to afford the upkeep. "Maybe you should just sell it. If it's this expensive, you'll go broke in no time," the owner suggested. But marksman was already Lee Ha's chosen class. How could he just give it up? Still, he felt he needed to find another way. If he only hunted rabbits, he'd be losing money. 1 rabbit was worth 7 copper, while a single shot to hunt it cost 18 copper, not to mention the high chance of missing. In reality, if he ran out of ammo, he could still use his gun to bludgeon the rabbits, but doing so would mangle the carcass and ruin some of the meat. If that happened, he wondered if Madame Lu would use that katana-sized knife of hers to carve him up instead. In the end, Lee Ha had to spend all of his capital on weapons and ammunition, using up all the money he had worked so hard to earn. He was left with only a single copper coin. On his way out of the weapon shop, Lee Ha couldn't stop regretting not choosing the mage class. If he had, he might be using magic right now. And that's how you fill your pockets. Then, Leah suddenly had another thought. "I wonder if there are special conditions for getting quests." Before, the captain of the Kando Castle security team saw my level and gave me a quest, and Madame Lu gave me this job because she saw the quality of the rabbit meat. Does that mean you need a certain factor to be able to trigger it? Like you have to meet the NPC's requirements. Just as he was thinking this, Leah heard his stomach rumbling loudly. Good grief, even the feeling of hunger is this realistic. The guys who developed this game are terrifying. What's more, because he was hungry, his health was reduced by a whole 40%. At this rate, he wouldn't have the strength to hunt rabbits. So, Leah stopped by a bakery. He also wanted to try the bread in this game world, to see how realistic it could be. Just as Lee Ha pushed the door open, the bakery owner said they were already closed. This game is brutally realistic. During business hours, you can do anything. But once the sun sets, you can't buy food anymore. Lee Ha tried to persuade her, saying he was about to starve to death. He'd just buy 1 bun and leave immediately. She agreed, but then something unexpected happened. Among the remaining buns in the shop, the cheapest one cost a whole 3 copper. But his total assets amounted to only 1 single copper. The owner said that she hadn't been making much lately, so the 1 copper buns had sold out early. The main reason was that the damn rabbits had eaten all the barley, so there weren't many ingredients left. At that moment, Lee Ha suddenly realized that if an NPC was in trouble, it meant they wanted a player to help them with something. If he tried asking about the barley flour shortage, he might just trigger a new quest. So Lee Ha made a serious proposal. "At the request of the security captain, I've already taken care of a few rabbits. So, if I help you get rid of all the rabbits, and you give me some bread, wouldn't that be better for both of us?" "Oh my, is that so?" the bakery owner exclaimed. Just when Leah thought he had succeeded, as she threw a bucket of cold water on him. "About 20 strangers have come here today and said the same thing. But those rabbits are very fast, so I doubt you can help me. If I made a deal with you about that, wouldn't my shop be ruined?" Lee Ha was speechless. The NPCs in this game really had logical reasoning skills. They could even outsmart a player like him. But he didn't want to give up yet because he was a dirt poor guy with no money for bread. So Lee Ha decided to flex his not-so-ordinary status. He said that he had received a request from the owner of the Holy Grill, so he wasn't like the other passers-by, who had come to the bakery offering to hunt rabbits for bread before. Not to mention, Madame Lu also asked me to catch a black-furred rabbit. After hearing the two words, black rabbit, the bakery owner's attitude changed completely. But then, she dealt Lee Ha another critical blow by saying, "You look so pathetically weak. You don't look like someone capable of catching a black rabbit. Besides, if you were capable of catching one, you certainly wouldn't be so poor that you couldn't even afford bread like this." Sorry if I was a bit harsh, she continued. She really knew how to dish it out and then soften the blow. Although he was deeply hurt, Lee Ha was determined to hold on until the end to get free bread. He then took out the bag that Madame Lu had given him earlier to catch the rabbit. He didn't know what was inside it, but the smell was truly awful. The bakery owner didn't even dare to get close to the bag. "Oh my god, this stinky thing is definitely something Sister Lu made. So you're the capable person that Sister Lu trusted and gave the job to? It seems this smelly bag really did its job." Leah tried to stay calm, but inside he was overjoyed. The bakery owner seemed to trust him now, and asked Leah to help her with one more thing on his way to catch the black rabbit. The system immediately translated the owner's words into a new quest. "I've heard that a certain herb grows where the black rabbit leaves its droppings. It enhances the flavor of the bread, but this must be kept an absolute secret. Because if customers knew the bread contained a flavoring that grows from animal droppings, they might not continue to support the bakery." And the content of Lee's quest was to collect 3 of these herbs. His reward was a bun sprinkled with herb powder and 30 copper coins. But the most important thing was, the name of this quest was Risk Your Life to Gather Spices. Just hearing it was enough to know it was very dangerous. Lee Ha thought the developers of this game were insane, so the NPCs in the game were just as crazy. To think she could ask him to risk his life just to gather spices. Moreover, that life was only worth 1 bun with a topping of herbs grown from rabbit droppings along with 30 copper. "So can you do this side quest for me?" Seeing Lee Ha's silence, the bakery owner urged him on. To be honest, he was a little shaken. A moment ago, this woman had mentioned a concept called Black Angus Bull. It seemed she was referring to the black-furred rabbit. She explained that the pitch-black rabbit, it gets so furious that everyone calls it the Black Angus rabbit. And of course, its attack power is terrifying compared to normal white rabbits. But for the sake of making a living, Leah had no choice but to accept this quest. However, he was starving right now, and if he didn't get something to eat, he'd probably pass out before he even reached the black-furred rabbit. Leah tactfully brought this up with the other party, and she shot him a skeptical look. "You want my bread? But what if you just eat it and run?" "Don't worry, I'm very trustworthy. I'll definitely find the herbs for you." The bakery owner thought for a moment and then made a decision based on her judgment. The quest details were also changed. Specifically, the reward of 1 herb-sprinkled bread and 30 coins was increased by 3 sweet croissants and a 15% affinity boost with all NPCs in Cannon Castle. However, there's no such thing as a free lunch in this world. Along with the increased reward, the quest's difficulty was also upgraded. Specifically, Leah had to bring the herbs back to Ani's bakery within 12 hours. If he failed, his affinity with the owner, Ani, would drop by 20%. At the same time, his affinity with all NPCs in Cannon Castle would drop by 10%. Leah nearly screamed. The difficulty increased this much just for 3 extra croissants? And now there was a time limit, too. Not to mention, if he failed, the affinity drop would seriously affect his ability to get by in the beginner's village later on. On the bright side, Ani gave him the 3 croissants up front to fill his stomach. The bread was delicious, but he couldn't feel happy. This game is even harsher than reality. Leah cried while eating the bread just as he left the shop. It wasn't long before he received a new notification that he had learned a skill called Trade Agreement. The effect of this skill was the ability to change conditions, related to quests and item trades with NPCs with a 20% increase based on affinity. That was the very reason why the details of the quest Ani gave him could be changed. Returning within 12 hours seemed a bit difficult for Leah. He hadn't even figured out what to do yet. And just then, Leah heard someone shout loudly, "Looking for party members! Anyone hunting the black-furred rabbit, come over here!" Seeing people with the same goal, Leah immediately wanted to join the party. But the other players looked at him skeptically and asked what his class was. He replied that he was a long-range sniper, which sounded impressive. But one look at his gear and they knew he was a low-level player. Trying to leech off us for a carry, huh? Go find someone else. Just look at your shoes, you can't be over level 5. The black-furred rabbit is a boss monster. You think we'd let a useless player like you tag along and drag us down? Leah was fuming at these guys. They just ignored and openly disdained him like that. However, from the way they talked, he learned a new piece of information. If you die during this quest, you can't redo it, so it was only natural they'd want to find a player of a similar level for safety. Leah was a bit puzzled. His quest conditions didn't mention anything about not being able to redo it if defeated by the black-furred rabbit. Could their quests be different? So he asked them, "What quest do you guys have involving the black-furred rabbit?" "It's a fur-gathering quest. Doesn't seem to have anything to do with you, right?" "If that's the case, then go somewhere else." Leah let out an "oh." So it really was a different quest. In that case, they couldn't party up anyway. Even if they hadn't looked down on him for being low level, Leah started to calculate. It seemed there were multiple quests related to that rabbit. That black-furred one. For example, finding meat, herbs, or fur. If so, there must be other people in town who need its other parts. And the more related quests he collected, and completed them all at once, the more advantageous it would be. So Leah returned to town. He used the exact same approach as with Annie to convince other NPCs to give him quests. For example, the woman at the tailor shop asked him to collect the rabbit's fur to make a coat. The blacksmith at the weapon shop asked for its claws, and the owner of the jewelry shop asked him to bring back its eyeballs. Leah had collected 3 new quests. His skills and level also increased because of it. If he could catch the black-furred rabbit, he would get all 5 items they needed at once. It was truly a profitable exchange. But the prerequisite was to defeat it. Now, with only 2 hours left until dawn, Leah had to take advantage of the rabbit's active time. Otherwise, it would all be for nothing. So he took his gun and headed to the outskirts of town. To be fair, Leah's level was indeed quite low, only level 5. Moreover, his health, his stamina, and other stats were all rock bottom. Not to mention, it seemed he had used the butt of his musket to bash rabbits too many times, and now it was a bit wobbly. If this gun broke, he'd be bankrupt. As Leah was stressing over this, he suddenly saw a backpack on the ground. Leah reached out to pick it up, and he heard a somewhat familiar voice. "That bag's been pretty heavy for a while now. Let's finish it. If this keeps up, we're all going to die." "It's not time yet. Let it get a little more ferocious. Just 30 more seconds. The archer is in danger. Get over there, quick!" At this rate, he's a goner. Lee Ha realized this was the party that was recruiting by the fountain earlier. It looked like the whole group was having trouble with that monstrous rabbit. When Lee Ha peeked out, he saw their archer was already dead. The remaining members were so tense they were bracing themselves, weapons at the ready. At the front, it looked like a shield-bearing warrior was on defense. In the middle was a priest, and at the back was the squishy mage. The party formation seemed pretty solid, but in reality, they were still struggling big time against that rabbit. Specifically, when the female mage in the back unleashed a fireball from her staff, a control spell that looked very powerful, it still couldn't make the rabbit flinch. Lee Ha, hiding in a nearby bush, watched intently. So that was the true power of the mage class he'd missed out on. The casting time to create the spell only took about 15 to 20 seconds, 3 or 4 times faster than his damn musket. As for that arrogant party, it looked like they were paying the price for being so high and mighty because their tanker was now dead too. With only 2 squishy members left, no matter how strong they were, they couldn't take down that monster. And the best thing to do now was to cut their losses and run. In the bright moonlight, Lee Ha got a clear look at the black-furred rabbit's interface. No wonder Andy called it a black anger. This rabbit looked even bigger than a cow. He hadn't revealed himself yet, wanting to observe the situation first. By now, the 2 survivors had started to flee, cursing up a storm as they ran. They were blaming each other, saying the tanker and archer died because the spells missed their target. But there was clearly one rabbit chasing them, and yet another one was standing over the tanker's corpse. That's when Lee Ha realized with a shock that he was up against 2 of them. One was terrifying enough. This just doubled the difficulty. Before, he was just hunting small white rabbits. That already hurt like hell. Getting hit by a black-furred rabbit now would probably break all his ribs. But Lee Ha couldn't give up here, because he had accepted 5 quests. Except for Madame Lou's barbecue restaurant, the other 4 required him to bring back items within 12 hours. If he failed now, he'd be penalized with a rapport deduction. 4 quests meant a total of 40% rapport loss with the NPCs. If that happened, Lee Ha probably couldn't even return to the beginner village anymore. He decided to take a gamble. After all, he was a musketeer. He had to make his gun count for something. If he could actually hit the rabbit's weak spot, he might be able to kill it in 1 shot. Lee Ha recalled his time as a Special Forces sniper in the real world. Then he encouraged himself, thinking that he was a great shot to begin with. Since this game world was created with such detail that it could be mistaken for reality, he could definitely make his shooting skills, shine. Lee Ha raised his gun, then opened his character info panel and dumped all his remaining free attribute points into agility. His agility was now at 55 points. Then Lee Ha stood up straight, facing the 2 black-furred rabbits that were furiously chasing the other party, and shouted loudly, "Hey, you 2 stupid rabbits, over here!" Lee Ha felt a mix of anticipation and tension. His agility was already at 50. According to the system, agility only increases up to level 9. The maximum attack power doesn't get any stronger. Instead, if you miss, you're done for. 1 shot, whatever it takes. I have to get it in 1 shot. If I miss, everyone dies. Okay, reloading complete. I just have to put the bullet in. Just then, a panicked voice cried out, "Help! Help me! Over there! Over there!" The scene before him made Lee Ha panic. "Huh? Wait! Why are you both running this way? If you both run over here, what am I supposed to do? One of you run in a different direction!" Wei Yan just kept running and shouted, "Hey, you bastard! If you're going to help, then hurry up and do it." And so she and Helen started arguing. "Why are you talking like that? Are you trying to get rid of me? If you don't like it, then you run!" Their noisy bickering was driving Lee Ha crazy. Maybe I should shoot that girl instead of the rabbit. My ears are bleeding. In the end, he had to calm himself down. "Calm down, it's fine, just wait. Wait until I've confirmed the range and can aim properly." Lee Ha began to focus on the target in front of him. 85 centimeters. The moment Huayan and Helen were about 80 away from him, until the distance to the two black angers, was only 75 centimeters. That meant they were already extremely close to those two. Just when it was only 50 centimeters away, the Black Angus's claws suddenly shot out, but Lee Ha patiently waited until his firing range shortened to just 45 centimeters. That was the exact distance he had been waiting for. Here it comes. Immediately after, Lee Ha fired without a moment's hesitation. The bullet grazed past Hua Duyan's cheek and whizzed behind her, much to her astonishment. The next second, it precisely embedded itself straight into the Black Angus's head. Witnessing that scene, Hua Duyan couldn't believe her eyes. It's dead? She was so stunned she even forgot to run. What was that just now? While Hua Duyan was still dazed, Heller, who was next to her, was caught by the other Black Angus. Its ferocity made her so scared her legs went weak. Just then, a hand suddenly reached out and grabbed Hua Duyan. Lee Ha had appeared beside her without her noticing. "What are you doing? Run!" "What about him? It's going to come for us next." Right now, only one thought was running through Hua Duyan's mind. Did I really see that correctly? That monster was wiped out in just one shot. How could he do that? Is he high level? Meanwhile, Lee Ha was in a bind. When am I going to get a chance to reload? And so Hua Duyan let him drag her along like a puppet. Who the hell is this kid? As for Lee Ha, he just kept running headfirst. I'll reload when reinforcements arrive. If I keep going like this, I'll get caught and eaten. Anyway, I've gotten far away from that rabbit. If I can just get a little farther, I'll have time to reload. As he was calculating, he suddenly felt it. The atmosphere around them suddenly changed. The Black Angus behind them abruptly threw its head back and let out a long roar. Their footsteps didn't stop, but the mental shock was immense. This was a situation Lee Ha hadn't anticipated at all. It's already finished eating? He sighed inwardly. Am I going to die here? Before the two of them could even think of a way to react, Hoa Ding suddenly appeared right before their eyes. The moment she saw her, a flash of panic crossed Hua Duyan's face. She hurriedly turned to Lee Ha. "Get down!" Her sudden action startled him. What? The next second, a thin wisp of smoke suddenly emerged from Hua Din's hands, and with it, countless ice rods appeared all at once around her. Hua Din's storm-like attack began instantly. Her target, of course, was the giant Black Angus over there. Before Lee Ha could even understand what was happening, the ice rods had plunged straight into the Black Angus. And then what happened next astonished him even more. "It's frozen!" Just then, Hua Duyan suddenly spoke up. "Quick, tell me your name. Hurry up!" Lee Ha stared at her, bewildered. "Huh? Why? Why are you asking for my name?" Hua Duyan replied in a matter-of-fact tone. "So we can cooperate. Hurry up and say it. I have to pay back my debt to you, don't I?" Although he wasn't sure what was going on, he replied, "Lee Ha." Then she began to perform a strange action. Okay, cooperation process complete. A ring of fire could be seen on Hua Duyan's hand. It grew brighter and brighter. Then, she launched an all-out attack straight at the Black Angus. "Now die!" As a high-level player, the power of Hua Duyan's skill was no joke. In the blink of an eye, she had completely subdued the Black Angus. Only now did Lee Ha dare to breathe a sigh of relief. We got it. The system notification echoed at the same time. Level up. This result made Lee Ha extremely satisfied. Great, a level up. It's just that he suddenly thought of a problem. Don't tell me that item got burned up too? Hua Duyan walked over to the Black Angus. Let's see. Oh, item! Her voice made Lee Ha panic. Are you planning to take that item all for yourself? Hua Duyan looked at him calmly. Of course. I'm the one who burned it. Lee Ha immediately got angry. So, what about me? Hearing that, she pointed into the distance. Well, that one back there, you can have it all. Finally, Hua Duyan gave him a mischievous smile. That's fair, isn't it? After collecting the items, the three of them set off again. It's just that Lee Ha was now extremely bewildered. Why? Why are they following me? Just then, Huayan suddenly spoke up. My name is Lam Huayan. Leah coldly replied, I didn't ask for your name. But she paid him no mind and continued, and that's Lam Huajong. He could only give a half-hearted reply. Right. Seeing this, Huayan became even more insistent. You don't know the Snowflower Archer. A Lam Huajong of Hong Kong? He was at a loss for words with her. Do you know Ha Li Ha of South Korea? Huayan immediately became interested. Who's that? Is that his name? But he just brushed her off. We don't know each other, so we're even. Whether you're a squirrel or Lam Huajong, just hurry up and go home. I'm very happy to have hunted with you all. Lee Ha's attitude made her even more curious. Something felt a little strange. How could he take down a Black Angus in one shot? That thing had such a massive body. No matter how I look at it, he doesn't even look like he's level 7 at this point. Huajong, who had been silent until now, suddenly reacted. She only said one simple sentence, and it was enough to make Lee Ha freeze. The herb is over there. Ani's voice was still ringing in his head. Remember, don't tell anyone. Lee Ha's entire body went stiff. He slowly turned to face Huajong. Where did you get that herb? At this, Leah started to panic. How does she know? The bakery owner told me not to tell anyone. Did the quest fail? Only Huayan was still confused. What's a herb? Huajong was kind enough to explain to her it's a quest item.
The one this person is looking for?
Then she turned to Leah.
It's all right. It's fine to tell other players.
Hearing this, Huayan suddenly glared at him. Don't tell me you were afraid we'd steal your quest item, were you? Huajong, standing beside her, added fuel to the fire. Perhaps? She thought for a moment, then continued. From a distance, I saw you hit the Black Angus with a single shot. This was what she had been wondering all along. How were you able to do that? This was also what Huayan wanted to know. Yeah, that's right. That rabbit was at 100% health. How did you manage to catch it? Faced with this question, Li Ha had no choice but to be evasive. Huh? I guess I just got lucky. As he was feeling awkward, a few notification windows suddenly appeared in front of him. The content on them mainly listed his latest achievements. Looking at the words on the screen, Leah couldn't hide his joy. The quest was a success! A moment later, Huajong excitedly dragged everyone to a nearby restaurant. To celebrate our safe return, let's have a toast. Li Ha couldn't refuse her enthusiasm. Cheers, taking this opportunity. He asked the question he was extremely curious about. But who are you, anyway? Even the NPCs bow to you and everyone makes way for you. Huayan was a little surprised by his question. You really don't know? Her eyes flashed with pride. Huajong is ranked 5th in Asia, and 9th in the world. Let me introduce us again. I'm the Fireflower Archer, Lam Huayan, and this is the Snowflower Archer, Lam Huajong. These words left Li Ha a bit confused. Calling someone who runs away a Fireflower? Isn't that a bit of a stretch? I'd find it kind of embarrassing. As soon as he finished speaking, Huayan immediately flew into a rage. Hey! That's the name of the profession! What am I supposed to do about it? But not only was Leah not scared, he laughed even louder. Ha ha! You must be so embarrassed, huh? After a bit of joking around, Huayan suddenly remembered something. All right then. So who are you? And how did you manage to catch that Black Angus? Li Ha was silent for a moment, then answered nonchalantly. I shot it, so it died. Simple as that. His attitude angered her once again. Are you looking for a fight? But Li Ha remained perfectly calm. I'm telling the truth. Do I have to spell it out for you? It was an instant kill. While the two were still arguing, Huajong suddenly spoke up. At level 6, the ability to adjust hit rate with skills is minimal. Even with a critical hit, it's impossible to take it down in one shot and kill it cleanly. Other than an instant death effect, there's no other explanation. Hearing that, Huayan cried out in alarm, but he's level 5! Level 5 and he caught a black rabbit? But Li Ha was worried about something else. How does she know about my abilities, my items, and even my skills? Just then, Huajong answered her sister's question. The rabbit died of a heart attack. She continued her analysis. To catch it in one shot, your aiming and firing power would need to be at 90. This was the first time Huayan had heard of this. 90? Your strength has to be 90? Huajong repeated herself. Besides strength, she slowly emphasized each word. Your level has to be 90. Hearing that, Li Ha suddenly remembered the notification from earlier. Ah, so that job description was talking about my level. On the other side, the two girls were still enthusiastically discussing critical hit. Assassination mastery is level 70. Suddenly, Huayan glanced at Li Ha. Is it okay? Huajong, beside her, nodded. Okay. Their suspicious behavior made him jump unconsciously. Huh? Okay, what? What's okay? Huayan's expression suddenly turned serious. All right, Mr. Li Ha of the Republic of Korea. Would you like to join our faction? Li Ha truly hadn't anticipated this situation. What? Huayan started boasting again. The master of our faction is Huajong, the one ranked 9th in the world. A pretty famous faction, huh? Li Ha hesitated for a moment, then said softly, You know I'm level 6, right? Huayan acted like it was no problem. You can just raise your level. He continued to point out his weaknesses. I'm only equipped with beginner items. But she still felt it was solvable. I'll get you the items. So, Li Ha reluctantly continued. I don't know how much money you have, but... Huayan immediately cut him off. A lot. She tried every way to persuade Li Ha. The master of the faction is the world's 9th-ranked player, Huajong. You get what I'm saying, right? Unfortunately for her, she'd found the wrong person. I refuse. My mom told me if someone offers you candy and you follow them, something bad will happen. Your mom raised you well. Huayan couldn't believe her ears. He's refusing such a great opportunity? Li Ha replied casually. The conditions are so good they make me uncomfortable. She still wouldn't give up. Our Huajong is the master, but he didn't care one bit. Even so. The conversation between the two continued for a long time. Do you know what our faction is ranked in the world? Huh? Probably pretty high, right? What? Finally, Li Ha calmly explained, I have to look into this and that before I go. When you go to the market, you don't just check out the first store. If another place is better, I'd have to go back on my word. Since you've put it that way, Huayan didn't press him any further. All right. It's better than biting each other's heads off later. If you change your mind, contact me. Add me as a friend, okay? Li Ha readily agreed. Okay, sounds good. After that, Huayan slowly stood up. I'll pay. Huajong, let's go. Oh, and one more thing. She turned back and said in a sincere voice, Thank you for saving me. Then Huayan quickly walked to the payment counter. Keep the change! Hurry up, Huazhong! Meanwhile, Li Ha was feeling extremely awkward under Huazhong's intense gaze. Aren't you going? Suddenly, she spoke up. See you later. He had just opened his mouth to reply, all right, then, when she continued, Oppa. Hearing that word so unexpectedly made Li Ha freeze for a moment. Oppa? What Oppa? Only after the two girls had left did he dare to breathe a sigh of relief. Geez, a person like a storm gives a quest like a storm. Well then, now it's time to claim my rewards. First, Li Ha went to see Coutier. Look at this deep red eyeball. You really did find it in just one day. He immediately put on a standard business smile. Next time you have a job, please feel free to give it to me. She quickly replied, of course, you caught the Black Angus in just one day. The second person Li Ha went to see was Tickle. This is indeed the claw of a Black Angus. I can make a fine weapon with these claws. Seeing him so happy, model. Seeing you this happy makes me happy too. Please forge an outstanding weapon for me, master. After completing these two quests, he received a level-up notification. The camera pans to Sandy's place. That's right, that's the one. Wow, the color of this fur is gorgeous. Thank you, Leah. This will make a beautiful cloak. Well then. And here is your special reward. He hurriedly accepted it. Thank you so much, ma'am. So far, Li Ha was extremely satisfied with what he had achieved. It's true that hard work pays off. After that, he headed to Coutier's place. Excuse me, may I ask you something? Please, come in. At that moment, she was alone in her shop, Annie's Bakery. The moment she saw him, Coutier's face lit up. Oh my, it's you, Li Ha. Please, come in. He was also extremely happy to see her. Hello, miss. Then Coutier offered him what she was holding. This is freshly baked. Would you like to try a piece? Li Ha quickly refused. No, thank you. It's a bit expensive, so... But she immediately protested. You don't need to pay. Are we such strangers? He only dared to think to himself. But we kind of are. In the end, Coutier managed to make Leah sit down. Here, take your time and have some cake. It looks like you haven't had breakfast yet. He had no choice but to listen to her. Oh well, in that case, I'll enjoy the meal. Their interaction attracted the attention of other players. He's getting milk too? What's with that NPC? She's even giving him a free sample? Now, Coutier finally began to speak hesitantly. So, where are the herbs? The herbs. If she hadn't mentioned them, Leah would have almost forgotten. Ah, here they are. The moment she saw them, Coutier forgot everything else around her. The herbs are here! Leah really couldn't understand her excitement. I wasn't even finished talking. Why did she cut me off like that? Does sprinkling that on top really make the cake taste good? Coutier was still lost in her joy. Can't you smell this rich aroma? People who love cake will buy it just from the smell alone. Leah found it even more confusing. It's just a plant that grows where rabbits poop. Her expression immediately turned serious. Shut your mouth! Poop? Leah's eyes widened in astonishment. Ma'am? After finishing his food, he set off again. Sigh. This whole thing is exhausting. I ate the cake, but why do I feel so drained? Time to head to the last shop. Coutier saw him to the door. Goodbye. His next destination was Madame Lu's place. Oh my, our Halia is back, is he? So the rumors of your success were true then? Leah held his head high as he looked at her. There are rumors about my return? Madame Lu replied nonchalantly. That's right. I heard you went to the tavern yesterday, too. There's nothing that happens in this Candlestick Castle that I don't know about. I've already heard about your successful hunt. Hearing that, Li Ha understood. So the rumor has already spread throughout the entire neighborhood. After that, Leah didn't ask any more questions and just handed her the item. Aren't you going to inspect the meat, chef? Madame Lu smiled kindly. If our Leah is the one who brought it, I'm sure the meat is excellent. He looked at her and marveled to himself. Intimacy has increased to 70%. Currently, Madame Lu was in high spirits. Oh my, this is black-furred rabbit meat. She handed Li Ha the money, exclaiming, oh my, I suppose I should give you a special reward too. Right? Wait a moment, I'll make you a lunchbox. Hearing that, he immediately became wary. There's more? With that thought, Li Ha cautiously inquired, making a lunchbox must take some time, right? Madame Lu winked playfully. It'll be done in a jiffy. But upon hearing that, Leah understood immediately. It's a linked quest. Sure enough, she continued, I'm sure Leah can do it. I need the meat of the golden eagle that lives behind the mountain. And so, he had another job to do. The final quest? Attack the golden eagle boss. Li Ha was extremely excited. The level 10 final quest of Candlestick Castle. He was still a bit confused, though. But is the reward this time really a lunchbox? Madame Lu explained further, Candlestick Castle is a village in a very remote area, you see, so it takes 2 stops to get to the city. And for a journey that long, you really need golden eagle meat. It takes 2 whole stops. So don't you need this high-grade item? If you want to achieve great things, you have to. Oh ho ho, you know the drill. Hearing that, Li Ha could only force a smile. Is that so? Then I guess I'll need that golden eagle. In reality, he was furiously cursing the creator of this game in his head. So it even represents the problem of corruption, huh? Only Madame Lu was overjoyed. Oh my god, it's done. She looked so excited. It's done, it's done. It's just that Li Ha was a bit hesitant. Should I eat the entire reward? Then he smiled at Madame Lu. Haha, thank you. Suddenly, a glint of surprise flashed in Lee Ha's eyes. Huh? He suddenly rushed forward, staring intently at the lunchbox. This is... In the next second, the system provided detailed information about this item. Lee Ha couldn't believe his eyes. Agility increased by 1, stamina increased by 1. Oh my god, what do you think? Madame Lu smiled brightly at him. It's not an ordinary lunchbox, is it? At this moment, Lee Ha was ecstatic. Moreover, if the reward is of the excellent type, the item's stats are tripled. A stamina increase of 7 is actually worth 7 million. Even if I sell it cheap, it's still over 60 million. I'll take it and sell it now. While he was engrossed in his calculations, a strange object suddenly caught his eye. What's this? What is this hanging tag? Leah curiously bent down to take a closer look at the thing dangling from the lunchbox. He saw a few words printed boldly on it. Special item. Untradeable. In an instant, he felt as if his whole world was collapsing. I can't sell it? This can't be sold? It's not equipment, so I can't equip it either. Just then, Madame Lu suddenly spoke up. Not bad, right? Ho ho! Leah immediately changed his attitude. Huh? Oh, madame! It's top grade, isn't it? He comforted himself. There's no other way. This is a huge gain already. This life is so humble it feels like it's mocking me. Only then did Madame Lu gently remind him. Well then, go catch the golden eagle. Leah solemnly promised her, I'll bring it back right away, ma'am, as fast as I can. Then he left, his heart filled with excitement. All right, I've completed all the quests. At this moment, his character information window had changed significantly from the beginning. Leah started planning for his future. Other related quests will get me to level 10. Let's gain 2 more levels. If I catch the golden eagle, I can finally leave the beginner's village. After that, he decided to enjoy Madame Lu's lunchbox. Wow, this smells amazing. Let me try a bite. As soon as he tasted the first bite, Leah felt the whole world around him transform. He was so moved that he couldn't stop eating. What is this? How can it be this delicious? Thank you, creator of this game. What kind of meat gives me this much motivation? I feel like I could catch a few more Black Angus right now. From now on, it's all about leveling up. After finishing his meal, Leah felt full of energy. All right, time to hunt. Inventory. I need to buy more bullets. The musketeers are all dead. Damn these game developers. And so, he had no choice but to stop by the general store. Hello, my intimacy level has gone up too, so he'll probably give me a discount. As soon as he entered, Lee Ha saw Lewis lying on the sofa. I'm here to buy some bullets. But the man just replied indifferently, Come in. This attitude annoyed Lee Ha a bit. Is it that much of a bother just to greet a customer? Intimacy is up by 15%, and this is how he greets me? But he didn't forget his purpose. I'm here to buy bullets. Before Lee Ha could finish, Lewis cut him off. You're here to buy 8 sets this time? I see you've changed your outfit, so you're probably not buying 7 like last time, right? 1 set is 18 coins? He hesitated for a moment, then decided to bargain. If 1 set is 18 coins, can't you lower it a bit? The man maintained his cold tone. That's right. How can I change the price? And so the anger inside Lee Ha flared up again. Could you speak a little more politely? However, Lewis didn't even bother to look at him anymore. What's so special about a musketeer, anyway? Suddenly, Lee Ha noticed a pile of old inventory in the corner. In this village, I'm the only musketeer? Even if I spent all my money, I could only buy 37 sets. I should probably save some of the payment for myself. After careful consideration, he decided to buy 23 sets for now. Let's see, 23 of them, 4 silver and 14 copper. Ho ho, Lewis's attitude is much more pleasant now. After all, buying 23 sets is better than last time. While he was still talking, the man suddenly moved closer, getting right up in his face. What's that smell? This action from Lewis made Lee Ha a bit flustered. I just ate a meat lunchbox earlier, but the man didn't stop. No, this isn't the smell of meat. Smell. He panicked and shouted, Hey, where are you putting your hands? Lewis became even more frantic. It's driving me crazy. What is that smell? This time, Lee Ha was genuinely scared by him. No way. First, please take your hands off me. But Louis was still lost in his own world. Bread. This is the smell of bread. Clearly, it wasn't ordinary bread. Hearing that, a thought flashed through Lee Ha's mind. Wait, bread? Could it be... He immediately opened his item bag. Oh my god, I have herb-sprinkled bread in my bag. As soon as he heard that, Lewis's eyes lit up. Herb-sprinkled bread? Share some with me, I'll buy it. 50 copper, how about it? Lee Ha coldly refused. I had to go through a lot to get this, and you're only offering 50 copper? The man hastily increased his offer. Then, 1 silver. But he still wasn't satisfied. How about 5 silver? Hearing that, Lewis angrily turned to leave. This thief! I'm not buying it anymore! I won't eat it! Lee Ha calmly watched him. Is that so? He just gave a mischievous smile and activated the trade agreement skill. Once this skill is activated, the chance of persuading the opponent increases by 21%. Then, Lee Ha started to speak. Is the herb bread really that delicious? But Lewis didn't react at all, which made him extremely confused. Huh? Did it fail? But the very next second, the man spoke up timidly. You must have gone through a lot of trouble to find that herb-sprinkled bread, didn't you? Lee Ha smiled with satisfaction. You want to know how much trouble? Lewis continued to negotiate. 2 silver? But he just brushed it off. Forget it, I'll just save the bread for myself. So, the man had no other choice. I'll throw in a few extra sets of bullets. Lee Ha pressed his advantage. How much do you sell your bullets for, sir? 23 sets for 4 silver and 14 copper, huh? He left Lewis speechless. For a human to haggle like this is a bit... In the end, Lee Ha settled on the price of 5 silver. The man still tried to bargain. If not, I'll give you a 5 copper discount per set. But he just kept repeating one phrase. 5 silver. Lewis grumbled in dissatisfaction. That's as low as I can go with the discount. Seeing this, Lee Ha switched to another plan. Then 100 sets of bullets. Hearing that, the man immediately got angry. You thief! He glanced at the man. Thief? What are you talking about? So, the man quickly backed down. Nothing. Lewis looked extremely distressed. Just 70 sets, okay? Please, I'm begging you, just 70 sets. Seeing this, Lee Ha didn't push him any further. 70 sets? All right, fine. In that case, I'll take just the 70 sets. In exchange, you can deliver them to me. Lewis suddenly felt like he'd just been tricked. I understand. After the trade was complete, Lee Ha's mood became incredibly cheerful. I hit the jackpot! I made the deal! I have to work hard and earn a lot of money. If I do that, I'll be such a good son. After that, he used his free time to relax, look into quests, and check out the current news. Immediately, a mechanical voice rang out. Hello, everyone. This is today's Middle-earth News, reporter Han Kyung-hyo. Ah, what's the news today? Today's Middle-earth News has a lot of surprising stories. Lee Ha ate his noodles while marveling. The Middle-earth News is even on the primetime news. At that moment, the program on TV was continuing. The first story is about the fluctuations in the rankings. And there's another interesting piece of news. There's a rumor that Snowflower Archery, Lin Huoding, has appeared at Candle Castle in a beginner village. Oh my god, Lin Huoding? But that's not all. Lin Huoyuan, who is said to be the number 2 member of the Lin Long Group, ranked 2nd in Hong Kong, was also there. The Lin Long Group? That's the top conglomerate group in Hong Kong. So why would these two come to a beginner village? Well, according to our sources, they came to hunt a certain Korean player. Hunting someone in a beginner village? You said Lin Huoyuan was very flustered? Lies, who said I was flustered? I guess they met up in the beginner village because there are fewer people there. Snowflower Archery. Lin Huoding is an excellent player, isn't she? These were the comments on the news report. It just appeared like a storm, but I heard they still haven't clarified the situation, huh? It's just that Lee Ha wasn't in the mood to listen anymore. And yet, as if understanding his feelings, the news report ended with the line, "It's too late for regrets now." He thought to himself, that was close. But before he could even breathe a sigh of relief, the news continued. However, there's information that another Korean player appeared at that time, using a long gun-like weapon. Yes, a gun-like weapon. A witness said that person was definitely not a Rona employee. We're quite curious about this Korean player, aren't we? Will the player using the long gun-like weapon return to Candle Castle? And now, Leah officially collapsed. I'm so screwed. That shocking piece of news made Leah drop his food and dive into his computer screen. What? What is all this stuff flooding the internet? A scene of the 3 of them talking was posted with a sensational headline. The Lam sisters appear in Candle Castle. Lee Ha was stunned. Huh? This is from back then. It has over 1,800,000 views and 72,000 comments. But this video was just captured 2 hours ago. Just like that. Enough to make the crowd go wild, mixed with anti-fans who despised them. As he scrolled frantically, he saw comments like, is that a person or a doll? Puffed. Obviously plastic surgery. The Lam sisters aren't natural. Haven't you read the news? And then, more problems arose as suspicion from the public flooded in. They brought a ton of questions and bluntly judged Lee Ha, the high-ranking Korean player. Why is he in Hong Kong? But are you sure he's a high-level player? Or did he intentionally dress like trash? The more he read, the more outrageous their words became. All the attention was focused on him. He met the Lam sisters equipped like that? Pfft, probably just some stray dog from a back alley. It left him not knowing how to react, other than letting out a dazed laugh. Ha! 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 Not to mention, someone mocked his musketeer class, and then they slapped all sorts of labels on Lee Ha, like newbie, psycho, and even beggar. He could only feel chaotic in the face of the brutal power of these keyboard warriors. Good thing people think this video is fake. He ignored what was happening on the screen. Leah was lost in a mess of thoughts that spilled from his mouth. I know the Lamb Dragon Guild is famous, but there's very little information about the Lamb Sisters Guild. If I joined them, I'd probably level up really fast. After that, he couldn't help but break into a cold sweat as he thought about it and mumbled, but the conditions are too good, so I'm a bit suspicious. Looking at Lam Huayan's personality, if I refuse, there's probably no turning back. However, all those problems, those annoyances didn't trouble him or stop him from acting, but I have to level up on my own. So no matter how hard it was, even though he had issues with loading his gun and his aim wasn't very stable, Leah still successfully completed the Fox family quests that the old man requested. "I've caught them, sir." Even Gok was extremely surprised. That was fast. At the same time, the system window popped up with a series of notifications. Intelligent Beast Quest complete. Intimacy with Candor Castle, NPCs increased by 10%. And with the security forces by 15%. He received 50 bronze and a pair of leather socks, which made Leah a bit disappointed. "Shh, no level up?" And before he could catch his breath, Gok led them into a quick conversation. "It's a bit much to ask for another favor right after you finished a job, but for someone as capable as you, Ha-Li-Ha. What about wolves? How do you know the foxes are leaving? So, I'm supposed to catch them?" The next second, the system window popped up with the details. Defeat 10 of them, along with attractive rewards. Actually, he'd already looked it up and knew about this quest. When he hit accept, something unexpected appeared. A weapon usage voucher? Huh, they have these too? Ga, with a thoughtful attitude, said, "You need to repair your weapon now." This was a huge help for a new player like Lee Ha. He was about to fix his shaky gun. He called out, "Well, I'm off then," the old man replied in a serious tone. "We're counting on you, Lee Ha." Before long, he arrived at a place with a sign that read, "Warning, Wolf Area." He leaned against it wearily. Leah mumbled in frustration, "From here on out, I guess I have to find a party." But finding someone to team up with isn't easy. It's a bit tough for a level 8 player like me alone. But if I could get a party... He imagined a scene where everyone was busy fighting wolves, while he himself would be busy reloading for a full 2 minutes, by which time everything would be over, leaving him standing there helplessly. A person with a hit rate of 55 out of 10 and a long reload time. He sighed. I knew it would be like that. Brooding too much wouldn't help. Leah immediately showed a glimmer of positive hope and self-belief. Dealing with 2 or 3 wolves at once would be tiring, but if I can separate them, it should be fine. After that, he crawled low to the ground and calculated as he slowly approached the danger zone. 100 foxes took 13 sets of ammo, so now I have 71 sets left. I'll finish this wolf quest with just 11 shots. Get to level 10, then catch the golden eagle. He remained in his ambush position for a long time, but nothing happened, making Lee Ha break out in a sweat. Aren't there any lone wolves? Suddenly, someone's voice rang out. "Magic missile!" He noticed it. Huh? Then his eyes widened. Oh ho, a fellow player, a party member. Right in front of him was a gentle-looking female mage who said, "I've lured 3 of them over." "Mr. Tanker," he asserted. "I'll control it." Another teammate exclaimed, "Combat starts in 3 seconds!" And then, the entire team coordinated so smoothly they could act simultaneously. They unleashed a series of support skills. Stomp, magic missile, magic energy ball. It was enough to make a solo player like Lee Ha Ha gape in awe. The wolf was really frozen. Through tears of pain, it still had to crawl and drag itself away. So sad. I have to find some prey before I get hurt. Meanwhile, the other group was still incredibly lively. Stomp, magic missile, and magic energy intertwined with the wolf's yelps. Finally, after moments of anxious anticipation, the target, with its soft fur, appeared right in front of him. Its eyes, glowing with a dangerous red light, narrowed tightly as if it too had tracked its pursuer's movements. Who knew the pursuer was just a fan looking for a place to vent his feelings, while Lee Ha was overjoyed. "Found it!" There wasn't the slightest hesitation or wasted movement. He was clearly filled with determination. "I'll show you the results of my training." Right after biting the cartridge open, he skillfully poured the gunpowder and loaded the bullet into the flintlock. The third step, of course, was indispensable. Using his breath instead of a ramrod, the final step was to tap the butt of the gun on the ground several times to ensure there were no gaps between the flammable materials. By the time he finished this lengthy process with the wolf, it was already taken care of and basking in the sun. Lee Ha officially moved to the aiming step. Confidence shone on his face as he remembered the regimental commander of the 95th Rifle Regiment that he had seen in a movie. "Control your breathing and shoot straight, kiddo." He couldn't help but exclaim, "Thank you, Commander. Thanks to you, I loaded it in under a minute." And then, all distracting thoughts vanished with the smoke of his exhale. Without any more hesitation, Lee Ha decisively pulled the trigger and fired the flintlock. The resounding shot tore through the wind, aimed straight at the wolf, which was still yelping. It stunned the creature, sending its body tumbling. It wasn't clear how much time he took, but the final result was enough to make Lee Ha jump for joy. Yes! Just as he was celebrating his first achievement, the appearance of a second wolf made his face freeze. He'd caught one. But unlike before, this one clearly recognized that a human had killed its companion. Its killing intent billowed to the heavens. A chill ran down his spine, making Lee Ha flinch slightly. Another one? Where were you hiding to show up now? Recalling how he once had to use a ranged weapon in close combat, his mind was forced to work at top speed. The durability of the flintlock wouldn't last much longer. I have to avoid getting close to them. As soon as he made the decision, his hands moved quickly. I have to reload in 1 minute. The 4 movements he had just performed, though relaxed, were no less decisive. Now they were executed at double the speed. Bite, pour, blow, and tap. Blow, With his talent and experience, the series of gestures was completed in a great hurry, and luckily without any hitches. Damn it! I have to aim quickly! But when Lee Ha reached the fifth step, he couldn't help but freeze. The wolf before him wasn't moving at all. This strange behavior raised questions and many speculations, so much so that he gulped audibly. What's going on? Why isn't it charging at me? Could it be? Finally, the wolf moved. However, it circled around him instead of charging straight at Lee Ha. This action clearly proved his theory. That thing is trying to avoid being targeted. Huh. So these dumb wolves know how to dodge bullets, huh? It's really hard to hit a moving target. If it suddenly moves left or right, I could miss even at close range. Or maybe I should just stay quiet, let it get farther away, and then provoke it? No, that won't work. I can't bring back the one I caught earlier, so I can't do that. After all that, Lee Ha took a deep breath, gathering his energy with the firm resolve of his choice. It's either both of them, or neither. The next second, he ignored the flintlock in his hand and directly fired a volley with his mouth. Bang! 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 It seemed like a meaningless attempt to scare it, but unexpectedly, the wolf's body froze as if it had received a signal. Then it bared a set of bright, perfectly even teeth, arguably the most beautiful in the wolf kingdom, in a mocking smile. Then, so confident, it reared up, revealing countless openings on its beautiful body. With his human intellect, Lee Ha seized the opportunity and immediately pulled the trigger. Instantly, a deafening shot rang out, followed by a cloud of smoke billowing into the sky. It was purely a battle of wits, and the scales of victory gently tipped in his favor with a terrifying whoosh. Facing the lifeless wolf, Lee Ha let out a sigh of joyful relief. Oh my God. It's finally dead. Meanwhile, the wolf still couldn't process it. But I clearly attacked after it fired. Receiving the notification that his musketeer skill had leveled up to 2, Lee Ha was stunned. Reacting to a gunshot sound from my mouth, how stupid. Or should I praise it for being smart enough to hesitate? Even in death, the wolf gnashed its teeth in anger. You made that sound with your mouth. Filled with the excitement of defeating 2 monsters in a row, Lee Ha was still busy. Gotta check carefully. There aren't any more wolves, right? Then he carelessly forgot about his surroundings and focused on the prize before him. All right, time to collect the items. Time. Finally, the silent, approaching figure spoke up. Wow, how did you take it down just now? Hearing that, Lee Ha was startled, but he quickly calmed down and turned his head. Another player? At the same time, he forced a smile. Ah, that. Who knew that right after facing monster wolves, he would come face to face with players who were clearly more terrifying and sudden than the creatures just now? Right after facing the majesty of Bunim and Jingong, it took a long while for Lee Ha to come to his senses amidst extreme panic. Giants! Monsters! The series of movements he performed at lightning speed scared the other 2 just as much. Bunim had to step forward to block them. Wait! We're not monsters! I'm a player! A player! Jingong quickly shrank back, stammering, Don't shoot me! And then he waited for this very moment. A bolt of lightning struck as Lee Ha, stunned, suddenly remembered. They're Lisa Dian and the Giant. I've seen them on the homepage. As that thought sank in, Lee Ha turned his back and walked away nonchalantly, no longer concerned. So they weren't monsters after all. This made Bunim quickly raise a hand to his head, completely unsure of the guy's attitude. What was that about? Hey, wait up! Finally, the atmosphere returned to normal when Lee Ha took the lead, laughing awkwardly. Sorry about that, I thought more monsters had shown up. He, on the other hand, seemed very relaxed. Ha, it's no problem. We get mistaken like that a lot. Jingong was a bit slower. It's okay. Not even a few minutes later, Bunim's expression turned deadly serious. Are you hunting alone? Lee Ha broke out in a sweat. Yes. In return, he got a chilling response from the man. You caught 2 wolves by yourself. This made him shudder inwardly. Why does he look so fierce? But he speaks and acts so politely. It didn't stop there. Bunim moved right up close to him and proposed, I'm just asking. If we're around the same level, let's hunt together. Lee Ha was more tense than ever. So scary. Don't come any closer. Why does his laugh sound so creepy? He was a bit surprised, stammering to confirm, Cooperate? Although he looked like a thug, he was actually representing his party and explained formally, We were assigned a quest to catch 3 wolves, but since we're level 9, it's a bit difficult. Without any hesitation, he went straight for the jugular. It also takes you a full minute to reload. If during that time, more monsters showed up, wouldn't you be dead instantly? Thanks to that, he felt less scared of the man. He speaks so politely, so they saw me reloading. This guy has a point, I was just lucky earlier. There isn't much of a level gap, so there probably won't be any losses, right? And so, after some thought, Lee Ha gave a little hey smile and posed a counter-question. I'm only level 8. Is that a problem? It was Bunim's turn to be surprised, letting out a gasp. You're an even lower level than us? I thought you were higher. It's no problem, let's hunt together. Then he gestured towards the swordsman healer, Jingong. I'll lure them over. You 2 attack, okay? The giant will tank the hits and hold it off. Once he restrains it, we'll finish it immediately. Kick, kick, kick. Lee Ha couldn't help but feel impressed. This sounds like a balanced party. And so, he exclaimed, "Thanks for letting me join. My name is Haliha." The man began the introductions. "I'm Bunam, also known as Venom Mage. I'm a poison specialist." The person next to him continued, "I'm Jin Gonggong, level 9. Faced with this man of few words, Lee Ha, feeling a bit suspicious, hesitantly asked, "Jin Gonggong, what's your class?" He felt a little bewildered. Strange. Why do I have this feeling of familiarity? Just then, the man scratched his face, looking flustered about the topic. "Ah, that is..." When suddenly it was like a light bulb went off as he saw the thing on Jin Gong's head. Wait, that crow? It really is him. Finally, the question that had been nagging him was answered. It was the Lich who was forced to a truce. He just exposed the guy's infamous dark history. "You're the giant who became a Lich just because of a power outage. The one who made me shout 'I'm a baldy' around the fountain 10 times. This made Jin Gong jump. "Ah, you're that Korean guy? But I only ran 9 laps back then." The next second, he fell into a depressed state and went to sulk in a corner. "It's okay. I'm used to it. Thanks to that, I even received some charity afterwards." Bunam, the poison specialist, also cheerfully added, "I'm from Vietnam, from Ho Chi Minh City." As soon as he finished, Lee Ha quickly sized up the team. Jin Gong is a tanker and a healer. Add in an item user. And as for myself, although I'm slow, my attack power is strong. Cooperating could work. But if there are any losses, I'll probably be the one to suffer the most. What a strange party in the end. A party where the members found each other both amazing and pitiful was thus formed. Why not? Let's give it a try. That's right. He, let's give it a try. Not letting any time go to waste, Jin Gong's hell crow, with eyes as sharp as an eagle's, flew forward. Reek, reek, reek! This completely set Lee Ha off. He had to hold back his laughter until he was shaking, as it suddenly reminded him of the innocent voice of a 3-year-old. "I can't focus." Why does it sound like he's saying like to me? Meanwhile, Bunam had already leaped forward with his powerful poison-spitting special move. Obviously, the splat-splat scene was making it impossible for Lee Ha to focus. This is driving me crazy. He couldn't dare laugh at the sight, while the wolves dodged and growled, "How dare you spit on us!" Plus, Jin Gong's goofy image forced him to stay strong. Don't laugh. If I laugh, my hands will shake. If I miss, I'll waste a whole minute reloading. Finally, after much struggle, he successfully landed a stunning headshot on a wolf. Yelp! But as soon as that one fell, another one charged forward with killing intent. Its bloodthirsty maw opened wide. What a shame for it. Jin Gong got serious and gifted it a brutally heavy punch. To make sure, Bunam followed up with a sword strike right to its head, right on cue. Next, it witnessed 2 of its comrades fall one after another. The last wolf could only growl threateningly, not daring to advance. Unfortunately for it, Lee Ha, far in the distance, had already finished reloading his freelock and simply sent it on its way, so it wouldn't have to wonder whether to charge or not. Cha-ching! He successfully upgraded his musketeer skill to level 3, even thinking to himself, "My accuracy is pretty good, huh?" Immediately after, the notification, "You have leveled up," appeared. Seeing this, Bunam came over excitedly. Hey, congrats on leveling up!" Lee Ha replied politely, "Thanks. It's because our group's hunting speed is so fast." But he was quickly cut off by a serious-faced Bunam. "No, it's because Lee Ha's attack power is so strong, and you, Jin Gong, are a solid tank." This made the guy embarrassed. No, it's just because I have a big body." Meanwhile, he silently praised him. "He's really good at communicating, huh?" Then, seeing that things were settled, Lee Ha spoke up. "I've completed the quest. I should go back and report." But the experienced Bunam advised him, "Reporting now is useless. Get your experience to 89%, then report. You'll level up to level 10, and then you can go hunt the Golden Eagle." At that, the whole team cheerfully raised their hands, filled with determination. "The 3 of us don't need to waste time traveling anymore. We can just go straight to the Golden Eagle's location. Let's rank up together." Time passed quickly, and their team's fame soon spread. Ivy Lynn took notice. Hey, look over there. The Misfit Party is here." Clara Joy was surprised. The Misfit Party? At the same time, Jin Gong suddenly let out a roar that echoed to the heavens, then proceeded to prove he was both a tanker and a healer. The real deal himself, he and the Hellcrow both shouted, "Heal, swish, heal, swish!" But Ivy Lynn's group of 2 just commented, "What is that guy doing?" But unexpectedly, it didn't stop there. Bunam suddenly popped his head up and spat poison at 2 wolves, further surprising her group. "What else have they got?" Of course, that wasn't all. Lee Ha rose up from the tall grass and successfully sent that pack to the afterlife. Ivy Lynn finally realized, There's a gunman too?" Clara Joy exclaimed, "This is the first time I've ever seen a musketeer." Before long, their eyes were glued to the pile of wolf corpses growing ever higher. They were stunned. "Wow, their hunting speed is insane. They look a bit weird, but they're good, huh? Are they really that strong when they work together?" A series of sounds followed. The scene repeated itself methodically under the blue sky. The bear man gathered them up, and in the midst of the battle, Bunam was truly incredible with every step he took. It was like he was taking a stroll in his own garden. Every time he activated his special move, another wolf would fall. Spit poison. His expression didn't waver in the slightest. Spit poison. With his vast experience, Lee Ha entered a state of automatic reloading, his mind dazed. The party composition is a little weird, but they're a strong group. Meanwhile, Jin Gong praised him. "Hey, lizard guy."
You're really amazing.
Filled with utter disbelief, the guy slowly posed the question, "How can you move and spit poison at the same time?" He then put on a little show. "You just do it." As a relatively new player, Lee Ha didn't quite get it and had to ask, "Is moving and poisoning at the same time that amazing?" Jin Gong explained. "It's like running while holding a cold glass of water, without spilling it." He was also baffled. How is that even possible? Suddenly, memories of when Lee Ha met the two Lin siblings flooded back. Come to think of it, Lin Huazheng, she could also move and cast skills at the same time, as expected of the world's number 9 ranker. However, he realized there was a clear difference here. His eyes widened. Huh? No, wait a minute. He remembered that Bunam's level was about the same as his, yet his actions made Lee Ha wonder, is that lizard guy using a ranker's skill? After a long day of non-stop work, the group finally gathered in a safe clearing. Jin Gong sighed. "Gotta regain some health." Bunam, still full of energy, said, "You worked hard. How much experience percentage have you gained?" The guy checked and replied, 69%. Despite his lizard face, he proved that handsome is a feeling. Anyway, at level 10 we get the Golden Eagle quest. So we have to get to level 10 first. Let's just focus on leveling up for now. By the time Lee Ha's experience reached 87%, he fell into deep thought. "I read that you need to be level 14 for a party of 4. For a 5-person party, level 12 would be appropriate, but he wants us to give it a shot when we hit level 10. In that case, the 3 of us just need to reach level 10. Can just 3 of us at level 10 really catch the Golden Eagle?" Before he could dwell on it for too long, Bunam cut in. "Shall we continue?" Leah answered instantly, "Yes, sir," while thinking to himself, "There's no way. Maybe I'm just overthinking this." And so, the colors above their heads finally shifted to a vast, starry darkness. A long, grueling day ended with a cheer from him. "Experience points at 88%. He felt both lucky and dismayed. "I'm completely out of ammo." Seeing Lee Ha like that, Jin Gong couldn't help but worry. "I'm only at 28% to level 10. Leveling is getting tough." Bunam, completely unfazed, said, "I'm at 42% to level 10. How about we head back to the village and resupply?" Just as planned, everyone was close to level 10. No matter what, they had reached their goal. So Leah grinned and said, "All right, let's go." After a cheerful and arduous journey, the group finally arrived to report to the guard. "Sir, I've brought back the wolf family." Even the guard was surprised to see them. Well, Leah, your teammates are here too, huh? What a unique party." At that moment, all of Bunam's calculations had paid off. Judging by Lee Ha's bright expression, yes, I'm leveling up. Now I'll finally hit level 10. But suddenly, a red notification popped up right in front of his eyes, leaving him stunned. Huh? After turning in the items to the guard, the system window immediately displayed a Quest Complete notification, along with the achievement, Honorary Member of the Security Team, and its rewards. Strength, agility, and intelligence all increased by 2, making him wonder, reputation reached 100%? Huh. While he was still excitedly admiring the light enveloping his body, thinking, this is amazing, the people around him began to whisper curiously, what was that effect just now? Wasn't that a level-up effect? In this awkward situation, he awkwardly squeezed his way out of there, moving so fast he didn't even pay attention to the rewards he'd received. So embarrassing. I've got to get out of here. Then he hurriedly said, excuse me, please, let me through. Seeing this, Bunam called out, Hey, wait for me! Sitting on a patch of grass a short distance away, Leah let out a soft sigh. Since this is the beginner village, everyone's attention is focused on me, huh? Bunam chuckled. Well, it can't be helped. After a moment, his curiosity got the better of him, and he had to ask. It's because this is the first time anyone has seen someone gain reputation. That's why. But how did you manage to get your reputation to 100%? Hearing that, he immediately became suspicious. What's with this guy, this lizard? Then he asked out loud, how did you know that? Bunam immediately got flustered and tried to explain, well, that red light is the sign of a reputation increase. I looked it up online, and that's what people were saying. In that moment, a suspicion sparked in Leah. How could he know my reputation was exactly 100%? But on the outside, he remained nonchalant. Oh, so you can find that kind of information online, huh? Determined to get to the bottom of it, Bunam pressed on. But even if you complete every single quest, reputation only goes up to 60%. So how did you get 100%? He could only scratch his head and laugh awkwardly. I don't know either. Ha ha. Then he suddenly remembered the time he faced the Black Angers, completing that whole quest chain with his skills. That trade-off skill. He felt a sense of relief. All that hard work finally paid off. After a moment of thought, Lee Ha slowly offered a guess. It's probably because back when I was level 5, I was doing the rabbit-catching quest while also doing a lot of other things. That must be why. Jin Gong immediately asked, curious. So other NPCs gave you quests too? As for Bunam, he was so shocked he dropped his weapon. Seeing his reaction, the young man asked blankly, Lizard, what's wrong? He hastily bent down to pick up his item, looking flustered. No, it's nothing at all. Then he glanced over at Lee Ha, full of suspicion. At level 5, he managed to catch the black angers. A while later, after exchanging items with Lewis, he could only sigh. It's just as expensive as she said, but if I use that method, I can catch it with just 40 sets. The moment the guard caught sight of him, he called out warmly, Leah, I have one last favor to ask of you. He immediately asked, The Golden Eagle? This took the guard by surprise for a moment. He really is something else, our honorary security member. Leah said enthusiastically, I already know all about it, so please give me the quest. In his mind, the guard was still a bit skeptical. Why is he in such a rush? Despite this, the guard still smiled and gave him the quest. Here it is. The ruler of the Castle Mountain. Looking at the rewards section, he was a little confused, but he hit accept anyway. My reputation is already maxed out, so now it's time to increase my contribution points in the kingdom. As soon as they left the city gates, Lee Ha turned to his teammates and asked, Everyone got the quest, right? Jin Gong looked up and answered succinctly, The crow has eaten its fill. Bunam quickly replied, I'm all set too. He tightened the pack on his shoulder. All right then. The group looked towards the hill ahead with excitement. Shall we go greet our elementary graduation test now? Just then, another team was arguing loudly as the group passed by. Ah, failed again? It was just the tank who died, right? What do we do now? Do we wait for the tank to revive? Are you crazy? We only have 48 hours. Why would we wait for him? Sophia questioned him. You just ignored it and left? Didn't you learn anything from the wolf-catching mission? Mia Bell retorted angrily. It was chasing me. What was I supposed to do? Ella J shot back with blame. You're the one who led everyone here. That's why the tank died. Watching this, Lee Ha thought to himself, The atmosphere is so aggressive. The argument seemed endless, with insults flying back and forth, no one willing to back down. Is that how you talk to me? Where do you live, huh? What about it, you bastard? A simple sorry would do? He just sighed to himself. Instead of fighting, they could just find a new teammate. After walking a bit further, a man's booming voice rang out. Come over here and check out my items. Players gathered in a bustling crowd, like a marketplace had opened in the middle of the field. Selling HP boosters, 30% increase for 10 minutes. Selling fire arrow scrolls, 80 coins total. Selling 25% recovery items. Looking for a strong tank. I'm looking for a magic user to team up with. Seeing this scene, Lee Ha was a bit shocked. It's so chaotic. Bunam calmly explained. If a party has a bad composition, they need to be fully stocked with items. That's why. Jin Gong, however, burst out laughing. Isn't our party the one with the weirdest composition? Ha ha ha. Hearing that, he suddenly remembered the scene from before and felt a pang of worry. Those people who were arguing, they were also a party of 4. The tank died. They had a defender, an attacker, and a healer, but they still failed. Do the 3 of us have enough firepower? With that concern in mind, he voiced a suggestion. Hey, should we find another teammate? But Bunam immediately shot it down. Who would want to join this party, huh? This level 10 composition already looks like a total mess. Faced with that reaction, Lee Ha just lowered his head in thought. I can only use that method when we're right in front of the boss. While lost in his thoughts, a reassuring voice suddenly spoke up. Don't worry too much. Startled, he asked, Huh? Just then, Bunam smiled faintly and turned his head back with a meaningful look. Do you know why I chose such a ferocious-looking character? Those words made him let out a small sigh of relief, thinking to himself, Right, there must be a reason for it. That must be why that lizard man trusted him so much. When the 3 of them arrived in front of the barrier, Jin Gong spoke up. Well, now we're putting our faith in you, Lee Ha. Let's go in. Bunam also chimed in, We're counting on you. This made him feel a slight weight of responsibility pressed down on his shoulders, but he still gritted his teeth. Well then, shall we go? Meanwhile, on Hua Yan's side, she was bracing herself in the middle of a battle. It's getting intense. A terrifying roar echoed from the distance. Vicious wolves with blazing red eyes tore through the wind, charging straight at them. At that moment, Hua Zhong suddenly stepped forward to block them, her hand raised resolutely. Get out of the way, sis. Then, she swirled a cold aura tightly in her palm and cast the freezing fog skill. In an instant, all 3 wolves were turned into cold, gray blocks of ice, standing frozen amidst the thick fog. Seeing this, a delighted Hua Yan cheered, let me, I'll finish them! But Hua Zhong shook her head, refusing. You should save your mana. Besides, we don't get any experience for killing these things anyway. Hearing that, she just let out a sigh and stood there watching blankly. So what if we don't get any experience? Frustrated by the reality of the situation. I told you to save your mana. Hua Zhong calmly instructed, This way, you won't waste even 1%. This made her even more suspicious. Is it because your level is high? She just shrugged. Can you help me burn the boss? Hearing that, Hua Yan happily praised her. With you here, this quest will probably be over in no time. But she still calmly reminded her, Even so, you have to be the one to finish it for me. she said excitedly. I know. As her feet moved forward without a hint of hesitation, she suddenly urged, come on, let's make this quick. Facing a sky darkened by swirling flocks of black crows, Hoadin calmly called out, use your strongest magic, sis. Just as she was about to use her power, Hoaduin hesitated for a moment. From here? It's so far, how am I supposed to hit it? But the younger one didn't bother to explain. Just do it. Behind her, her entire body began to resonate with the surging source of mana, her icy power building as she raised her head to look at the dark, rumbling, swirling clouds. She whispered, bone-chilling vortex. Draw in the target. As the foolish crows flew straight into the icy tornado, she decisively confirmed, target is entering the bone-chilling vortex. The accumulated power grew more and more intense, streams of energy converging on a single point, aimed directly at the target. Hoadin also widened her eyes, focusing all her spirit on the direction ahead. Then, tens of thousands of brilliant streaks of light burst forth, as if wanting to tear the very fabric of the blizzard apart. They transformed into countless arrows that shot out, piercing straight into the flock of crows. After just a few breaths, a giant figure was torn apart, lost its balance, and crashed to the ground. In the end, it lay sprawled out, completely motionless. It was as if all its breath had been swallowed by the darkness. While the dust was still settling, she calmly approached the heavy corpse and glanced back. Finish it, sis. Without further hesitation, she opened the system window again to quickly scroll through the list, looking for the next target. Meanwhile, Hoaduin was busy concentrating her firepower to harvest experience. At the same time, Liha had just stepped into the barrier as the system chimed. You have entered the mission. This was followed by a conversation nearby. Hey, Jin Gong Gong, you have the one-body takedown skill, right? The young man asked, one-body takedown? While opening his data window, the man mumbled, I have it, but I can't use it during a fight. Bionim smiled, don't worry, you can use it. This made Liha a little suspicious. Does he know everyone else's skills too? Suddenly he turned and suggested to Liha, you just need to follow behind us. His words made him pause for a moment. Me? In the back? But Bionim didn't answer directly, only offering a smile filled with hidden meaning. You'll see. Seeing Bionim's strange reaction, Liha became even more confused. What is he planning to do? Abruptly, he opened his eyes wide, glowing with the cold look of a lizard, then let out a decisive roar, Spit poison! Streams of gruesome mucus shot out in all directions, leaving him stunned. What is he doing to his body? Once everything had settled, Bionim pointed straight ahead. Let's go. Jin Gong Gong will use the one-body takedown skill, and you, Liha, will hide behind him. Hearing this, he asked doubtfully, what if the wolves come for us? But he answered with absolute certainty, let's see. They definitely won't come this way. Clutching his gun, Liha grew even more anxious. This is a wolf-patrolled area. If 5 wolves attack at once, the whole team could be wiped out. We also have to shoot down 10 golden eagles. What on earth are we doing? As they took a few more steps, a ferocious wolf suddenly appeared before them. They're here, Liha immediately reported. Lizard guy, there's a wolf up ahead. Bionim just smirked confidently. Oh, come on, I told you to leave it to me. As soon as he finished speaking, he strode directly towards the beasts, making Liha want to scream in frustration. What the hell are you doing? Why is he going out there, he wondered. Are we supposed to run away while the wolves eat him? But despite the panicked calls, he didn't even look back, slowly approaching the monsters step by step, getting closer and closer. They began to smell the strange scent emanating from his body. Bionim was prepared, noticing they weren't having any aggressive reactions. He then flashed a sly grin. KKK, I knew it would be like this. In contrast to his calm demeanor, Liha, hiding behind Jin Gong, stammered, What do we do? Meanwhile, Bionim continued to gaze at the pack of wolves with amusement and slowly explained, Google made the AI so realistic. The wolves will see us as their food. But they won't touch food that would kill them, right? As he spoke, he wiped a layer of leftover mucus from his body and emphasized, Besides, I have a certain level of poison resistance. Now you see why I chose this race, don't you? He didn't stop there. Bionim conveniently started an on-the-spot practical lesson. Because he's using the one-body takedown skill, Jin Gong Gong looks like a tree, and Liha is shielded by the poison scent, so they'll have a hard time noticing you. Hearing this, Liha couldn't help but be impressed. So that's it. He's using his race's resistance values. He knows the exact skills and classes of others. He's a player who targets loopholes. Then he found the weaknesses and similarities of others. He couldn't help but ponder, Google must have collected data on real-life transformative abilities. So this is how it's shown, huh? Is something in the sky distracting you? Why is there a black crow? Is it part of the game's background? Aigu, their target is us. It even put away its melodious voice. Come with me, master. Just then Jin Gong froze as he realized, oh right. Seeing this, the wolves' fur bristled. Fierce glints of light flashed in their crimson eyes. The scene instantly descended into chaos. Hey Jin Gong, the black crow. The black crow. Tell it to come back. Come back, come back, tell it to come back. But who would have thought it would happily glide away? I'll go on ahead. While everyone was still unsure of what to do, The pack of wolves quickly found their prey in the direction the crow flew and headed straight for them. They had just escaped danger, and now they were surrounded again. This infuriated Bunin. If I'd known, I would have hidden that crow. In front of them was a dense pack of wolves, baring their teeth greedily. Li Ha could only swallow nervously and mutter in terror. So many. There are more than 20 of them. Jingong adjusted his clothes, a guilty look on his face. I'm sorry, everyone. This is my fault, so I'll take responsibility while I hold them off. Everyone, run to the entrance! Hearing this, Bunin turned back and forth hesitantly. Thank you, Jingong. But the young man shook his head, refusing. No, it's my fault. Don't worry about me. Get in there. Find more defensive players and complete the mission, okay? Then he bravely stepped forward. Well then, see you all in 48 hours. Watching this, Li Ha gritted his teeth, a feeling of unease rising within him. Still, I can't just let you die like this. We only just started playing together. There must be something I can do. The young man, however, looked flustered. You mean well, but you don't have to worry about me. But Bunin seemed to ignore him. What are you talking about? Don't worry about a thing. Only Li Ha was muttering continuously under his breath. What's close to reality? What's close to reality? Then he thought, if we find a loophole in the system, wait a minute. Could it be? At this thought, he suddenly shot up and stopped him. Jingong, don't attack them! The young man looked worried. If we wait any longer, the wolves will attack first. Even so, Li Ha said bluntly, it would be a shame for us to part ways like this. He clearly had an idea and declared loudly, we live together, we die together. At this sight, Bunin stared, confused. Do you have a plan? A musketeer can only shoot one of them. However, he didn't say a word. That silence only made the suspicion in Bunin's mind surge violently. What is he doing? Did he just put in 2 bullet pouches? Overcome with anxiety, he quickly tried to stop him. We're already out of ammo and you're... But Li Ha paid him no mind. It's fine. Immediately after, he pointed the barrel of his gun straight up at the dark sky, a decisive movement as if cutting off all hesitation, and warned, Hey, everyone! Cover your ears. Just a moment later, an earth-shattering explosion echoed, tearing through the silent night. The violent sound of the blast shook the entire space. It made Jingong stagger. I can't hear anything. Bunin's face was pale with fright. What the hell are you doing? As for Li Ha, he only managed a few coughs. Well, I'm screwed. There's no turning back now. Glancing at the wolves, he thought bitterly, so we're just gonna die together like this, huh? But surprisingly, the pack of beasts froze. He immediately shouted, urging them on, Let's go, now! Bunin was stunned. What's going on? Jingong was bewildered. Why are they running away? But Li Ha didn't have time to explain. Let's get out of here first, I'll tell you later. As they sprinted away at full speed, Bunin panted, desperate for an answer. What on earth did you do? He answered quickly between ragged breaths. I tried transforming, too. Hearing this, Bunin grew even more confused. Transforming? Li Ha was still being vague, giving them a hazy answer. This is shorter than applying poison or using the single-body takedown skill. Hearing that, Bunin panicked and called out from behind, Wait for me! After the group ran for their lives for a good distance, they finally dared to stop. We've escaped those wolves now, right? Jingong panted, exhausted. Yeah. They're not chasing us anymore. However, Bunin was still uneasy. Really? What was all that about? And then, in a flash of insight, his eyes widened in astonishment. Don't tell me! Then he asked in a serious tone, Was it the smell of gunpowder? Did you scare them away with the smell of gunpowder? Jingong was stunned, his eyes wide. No way, really? Only Li Ha remained as calm as ever. This game is supposed to be realistic. The smell of gunpowder is hard for humans to bear, so it must be the same for wolves. This made both of them exclaim in awe. Amazing! No way! Inwardly, he felt pleased with himself. Phew, that was close. I thought I was going to break both bullets. And they were showering him with praise, saying he was so skilled, quite knowledgeable, and had a unique profession, too. Then as they were walking, Bunim suddenly asked a weirdly off-topic question. Hey, Li Ha, have you ever tried playing in the Middle Land before? Hearing this question, he was surprised. Huh? Then he turned back to confirm, But we're playing in the Middle Land right now. Realizing he'd been tricked, he stammered, trying to cover it up. That's right. Then he quickly pushed him along to change the subject. Right, that's it. Come on, let's head up this way. A suspicion immediately arose in Li Ha's mind. This lizard guy seems really suspicious. Just then, Jingong called out, Hey, everyone! The guy shyly made a suggestion. I'll call that crow back here and then we can go, okay? Everyone turned their heads away. What a dork. After hearing him, they both tilted their heads, each asking a question. Can't you use the skill while we're watching? Is it a skill that outsiders can't see? This made the guy flustered. No, it's not that. It's just a little embarrassing to use the skill. Seeing his awkward reaction, the two of them became even more cruelly excited and started clamoring. Then let us see it! Let's record it! The guy was bewildered. What are you guys trying to do? Under that pressure, Jingong trembled, looking like he was about to cry. I get it. It's a bit embarrassing, but the two of them didn't care and just grinned excitedly.
This is gonna be fun!
Taking a deep breath to compose himself, the guy solemnly shouted, "Crow, summon!" After speaking, he broke out into an elaborate dance routine, with disco music seemingly blasting in his head. Huh? The sight made Lee Ha and Bunam clutch their stomachs, rolling with laughter.
What is that? That's insane!
The guy could only clench his fists and endure it. If I don't do this, it won't come back. To the imaginary music, Jin Gong continued to dance while explaining. Worshipping nature is the condition for its existence. Tears streamed down the guy's face, but he still tried to finish the whole routine, especially since the summoning must be done with sincerity. Observing this, Bunam was skeptical. The crow will come back just from watching this? Lee Ha, on the other hand, sympathized with him. That crow is really too much. With 2 streams of tears flowing down, Jin Gong choked out each bitter word. It's done. The gaze of a sharp-eyed fledgling. This summoning is my dignity. Not knowing how to comfort him, he forced a smile. Well, the crow is back, so let's head up there now. And so, the 3 of them headed straight for the towering mountain shrouded in mist. Seeing the magnificent target ahead made Lee Ha excited. Finally, we're going to meet the boss! At last, after a long and arduous journey, Lee Ha's group finally reached their destination. Is that the Golden Eagle? Bunam stammered in reply, as you can see. As for Jin Gong, he couldn't utter another word. Whoa! Astonishment was written all over Lee Ha's face. Why did the game developers scale up the size so much? What kind of eagle is that? First a rabbit the size of a cow, and now an eagle the size of a light aircraft. What's next? A monster the size of a building? With the sharp eyes of a sniper, he could make a rough estimate. If the smaller one in the back is about 2.5 meters, the big one must be at least 4 times larger. The conclusion made his face darken. In any case, that's over 10 meters long. Bunam and Jin Gong discussed their plan. I'll go scout it out now. I've already told you about its attack pattern, right? Yes, I've learned it. Good. At first, they'll land and attack us. If it manages to grab Ha-Liha, it might just rip his shoulders off. Be extremely careful. This made the other 2 break out in a cold sweat. How many lives is this game going to cost me? But it didn't stop there. Bunam slowly emphasized, after that, they'll stay up high and let out a loud screech. If you get hit by the sonic wave, just imagine you have a bone stuck in your throat. Lee Ha was startled. They eat you alive? Jin Gong asked. When I'm in the tree, I should also prepare to attack, right? In return, he got his answer. Yes. If their health drops below 30%, they won't be able to fly anymore and will attack on the ground. The Golden Eagle's eyes gleamed. All of you, just die! Next, Bunam continued with the plan relentlessly. At that point, Jin Gong, you must use the marble skill no matter what. If you're still alive by then, I'll start by drawing the attention of the smaller birds. Unexpectedly, Lee Ha wore a confident and determined smile. When he declared, no, you don't have to do that, I'll shoot the boss directly. It startled the other guy immensely. You want to shoot first? He calmly replied. Yes. But Bunam insisted on sticking to the plan. If I lure them back in groups, it's safer to take out the small ones first. Lee Ha shot back, are you sure that's safe? This confused him. If we lure them one by one, we should have enough strength to catch them. How is that dangerous? Jin Gong also wondered, the distance is too great. How can you possibly hit it? To save time, Lee Ha decided, let's see. The estimated distance is... Finally, he answered with a very nonchalant expression. About 90 meters, I guess. Finally, Bunam got so angry he could breathe fire. Leah, what do you mean 90 meters? Are you kidding me? Meanwhile, the other guy was flustered. You really measured that distance? Of course, nothing is ever 100% certain. Leah placed his full trust in them. It could still fail, so Bunam, get ready to use your skill. He was fuming. Of course, Leah continued. And Jin Gong? The guy pointed at himself, bewildered. Me? With a deadpan face, Leah said something strange. Come over here and lie down. Jin Gong was confused. What? He then explained more clearly. You lie down and I'll use you as a stand for my gun. The guy couldn't help but exclaim, What? This guy? In the end, Lee Ha got his way. You can do it. I don't need to use the bipod then. Jin Gong was speechless. I'm so happy for you. He even pushed his luck further. Can you hold your breath? Breathing will make you shake. The guy didn't know what to say other than, What? Do you want to take your last breath? Is that my inner voice speaking? After all that, Lee Ha successfully set up the flintlock on Jin Gong's back and aimed straight at the prey. It was moving between 95 and 110 meters away, rising about 2 to 3 meters with each flap of its wings. If the bullet velocity is a little faster, it'll be safer. All right, I've controlled my breathing, drawing on all my experience. Real combat in the real world and... Middle-earth. He made his judgment and took action, aiming at the spot where the Golden Eagle was about to fly straight towards, and fired. The next second, Leah quickly lowered the gun and announced to his team members, I've fired. If it dives, get ready to use your skills. Suddenly, a series of notifications appeared beside him, enough to leave him stunned. An achievement? No way. After a moment of silence between the three of them, his two teammates snapped out of their daze and shouted excitedly, "You shot it down in just one hit?" Amazing. So amazing. That was truly amazing. Only at this moment did Lee Ha finally understand. Oh, so it died in just one shot, huh? Before the Golden Eagle even knew what was happening, its life was over. The one who caused it still couldn't believe it. I know I'm the one who shot it, but how is that possible? The moment the monster officially hit the hard ground, a series of system messages appeared. The ruler of the King's Castle Mountain, the Golden Eagle, has been slain. Obtained Golden Eagle's wing. You have leveled up. Musketeer skill has increased to level 4. Clearly, it wasn't just Leah. Both Byunim and Jin Gong also received congratulatory messages for defeating the ruler of the King's Castle Mountain, the Golden Eagle. Strength, agility, intelligence, stamina, and willpower have all increased by 1. The guy wanted to let himself go with the wind. Leah. This is the second achievement I've received. That's a lot of attribute points. Byunim beamed like a flower in spring. Is this for real? Getting an achievement in just one shot? He didn't forget to reply, "I'm so happy for you." He thought to himself, "I have to get the meat before this place closes." Finally, the notification. "You will be automatically ejected from this dungeon in the next 30 seconds, appeared. But by then, Lee Ha had already finished carving the eagle's meat. An achievement window, huh? I got 2 of them? The first blue message was about the achievement, 1 shot, 1 kill, Golden Eagle, D rank. Strength, agility, and intelligence +2. Looking over the whole thing, he couldn't help but wonder, please quickly make way for the next person? So I'm level 11 now, huh? The second window was for the sniper, C rank, achievement. Agility +6, stamina, and intelligence +3. He even got the composure skill. Leah understood clearly. I must have hit it while it was ascending. That monster was 100 meters away. Just as he finished looking, Jin Gong spoke up. "Should we get out of here?" "The gate's open." He glanced over. "Yeah." However, at that moment, another notification popped up. "Huh? I closed the achievement window, but there's another one? You are the second person to receive the sniper achievement. You will receive a 200% bonus to its effects. Attribute points are also doubled." Leah's eyes widened. That's the Hall of Honor. Byunim urged, "Once the eagle's body is confirmed, let's get going. Are you back to your senses? Let's go! Let's go!" Filled with excitement for the unknown future, the whole group cheered, immersed in joy. We've finally graduated from the beginner's area. By the time we got back to the base, Jin Gong was so happy he was skipping. All stats +1. I've never received an achievement like this before. Since the summoner's affinity reached 100%, Lee Ha commented from the side, "Is that so? So you've been promoted to F rank now, huh?" After a moment, Byunim decided to directly ask what he was suspicious about. "How did you do that? So sudden it's confusing you, huh? What's wrong?" He emphasized every single word. "How on earth could you shoot them?" The moment he saw another player, Byunim lowered his voice. "How could you just one-shot them like that? That's no small feat. It was a boss monster." Jin Gong was the one who spoke up, confused. "What's wrong with you? Isn't it a good thing that we took it down quickly?" But the other guy refuted him, spelling out each word. "The problem isn't how fast we killed it. It's that with our level, with our strength, it should have been impossible. It was a boss. Even players around our level would take a while to defeat it. Are you hacking the game?" Even Lee Ha could only laugh awkwardly. "Ha ha ha! Everyone, please don't..." While thinking to himself, I didn't expect I could do that either. With a look that said, "Look me in the eye and answer," Byunim asked, "Was that really a critical hit?" Lee Ha, embarrassed but honest, replied, "It was luck. I didn't even know it would die instantly. If I were this lucky every time, I'd probably be level 50 by now, right?" But no matter how many times he insisted, the other guy kept staring at him with suspicious eyes, making him flustered. "It would be great if I knew how I managed to shoot it like that. The way you're staring at me is making me even more scared." However, this didn't last long, as Byunim was the first to speak. "Sorry, I got a little too excited about something I've seen before." Jin Gong ran over and chimed in. "Me too. It feels like we won the lottery, right?" Lee Ha smiled cheerfully. "Me too." But in his mind, a suspicion formed as he thought about the system message mentioning he could make it, so no one realized he had fired the gun. Byunim probably reacted that way because he saw that first motto earlier. I'll have to remember that motto. After all the suspicion and difficulties, he successfully reached the quest turn-in point and was acknowledged by the guard. "I really have a good eye for people. Thank you, Lee Ha." He grinned in response. "Thank you, squad leader, sir." And then, a notification announced that his contribution to the Pupil Kingdom had increased by 300, and his level had gone up for completing the quest. Next was a special reward from him. "This is a letter of recommendation to the Browbet Musketeer Academy in the capital. It's the best training facility on the continent." Receiving it along with 90 coins, Lee Ha thought to himself, "Isn't that the place that trained musketeers during the British Empire?" The guard continued, "It seems you understand your own weakness, but I believe the academy will give you sharper observation skills." He accepted this with a serious face. Yes. He sank back into contemplation. A weakness? That's right. I received the title No's Own Weakness, so that's why he said that to me. Does that mean there will be more achievements? Suddenly, the guard hesitated slightly. Ha, Lee, ha. The guard's next action stunned him, pulling him out of his thoughts instantly. He couldn't help but be startled by the sudden intimacy from an NPC. What the? It was as if he used all his strength to pull Lee Ha into a hug. Thank you so much for everything. You've become a great talent for our kingdom. This made him certain without even needing to check. This affinity must be over 100% now. And so, he replied, it is I who should be thanking you, squad leader. All encounters eventually fade. As he left, Lee Ha felt a sense of nostalgia. It feels like being in the army. Meanwhile, the surrounding players were buzzing with chatter. What was that just now? NPCs can hug you? That's the first time I've ever seen that. Was it a free hug? Ignoring them, he focused on his two companions. Where are you guys heading next? Jingong and Bunim answered one after another. My next destination is the Jade Forest of Six Treasures. It's a training ground for druids. Mine is the Tamba Forest, which is near there. Finally, it was Lee Ha's turn. I'm heading to the capital. I think it was called something. The other guy sighed. It's a bit of a shame, isn't it? We were like an undefeated team. This gave him a chance to tease. You're traveling with me, but you hate me? Jingong stammered. Hate you? What are you talking about? I was lucky to be with you. This made Lee Ha feel emotional. It's not like we'll never see each other again. We're friends now, right? And just like that, a strong team built on camaraderie came to an end, each for the sake of their own future. We'll meet again, Lee Ha. Take care. You too. Have fun, he shouted cheerfully. Everyone, let's do our best to level up and party together again someday. He patiently watched until both of their figures disappeared from view, then let out a sigh of relief, excited to finally have some time to check on himself. Finally alone, he gave the system a command, character status window, and looked over the series of 3 achievements he had received. From exterminating the Golden Eagle, Lee Ha laughed heartily as if he couldn't believe it. Ha ha, is this for real? And for Sniper? He couldn't believe he was the second person in the world to receive this achievement. To be certain and to understand it better, he gave the command, character window, feeling more suspicious than ever. Is this a dream? There's no way this is real. I only focused on agility, but my strength and intelligence also increased by more than 30? Looking at all the information before his eyes, Lee Ha was endlessly stunned. According to the stats, the total points converted from achievements and titles is 114, and I still have 40 points to spend. I'll just leave the points for now. I should go find the new skill I received. Looking at the Calm Mind skill, which helps prevent his hands from shaking, made him a bit disappointed. It would be so much better if 3 seconds was 30 minutes. The Musketeer in Training skill gave Lee Ha the same feeling. This is so vague. A 0.5% increase in leveling speed is too stingy. But anyway, things are just beginning. Lee Ha quickly pushed aside all negative thoughts. I can't be greedy. I've confirmed everything, so I feel more relieved now. If I work hard, I'm sure I'll get better. He put all calculations aside for what came next. First, he had to report the completion of his mission. He called out with great vigor and excitement, "Good day, ma'am!" In return, he was met with intense enthusiasm from the other person. Oh my goodness, look who it is. It was Madame Lu. So, Lee Ha, you've discovered your own weakness, have you? You've already succeeded in your hunt, and so quickly, too. He was taken aback by this attitude. Ah, yes, ma'am, I succeeded. He screamed internally, "Please don't call me by that title like that!"
And don't get your face so close to me. She maintained a brilliant smile while teasing. Oh my, so fast. You're not trying to trick me, are you?
Lee Ha switched to a flattering expression. Hey, why would I trick you? You've helped me so much, madam. He knew full well that if he tried to trick her, he'd probably be chopped into meatballs. After a thorough inspection, even Madame Lu was stunned. Your abilities are truly excellent. Lee Ha held out his hand. That's not copper, it's silver. And then she told him, wait for me to make a boxed lunch, will you? Do you want to meet Chef Kiyomi? He's sad because you haven't met him yet. He was bewildered.
Is that so?
Madame Lu emphasized every word.
Because it's hard to meet someone like you, Lee Ha.
He's been sharpening his knife while waiting to meet you. Although in his heart he was screaming, why would you sharpen a knife to meet me? He still forced himself to say, well then I must meet him. She was just waiting for him to say that, and she immediately yelled out an announcement. Kiyomi, Lee Ha is here! Who would have thought he would appear instantly with an aggressive line of dialogue? So the meat has come home, has it? It scared him so much he froze. Did he just call me meat? The very next second, after admiring Lee Ha's results, Kiyomi praised him with the most honest evaluation. Very good. It was really worth the wait. This is high-grade meat. His face turned extremely pale. Don't look at me and say things like that. Look at the eagle meat when you say that. Who could have known there was another NPC besides the guards who expressed emotions so passionately? I'm truly very grateful to you. I knew someone would bring this kind of delicious meat. Back for us. You must be someone who loves meat, right? He even made a comment that was a bit blind and stubborn. If you love meat, then you can't be a bad person. At this moment, both the breath and soul inside Lee Ha nearly abandoned him. "First, please let me go and then we can talk. Save me!" Finally, Kyo let go of Lee Ha, but he suddenly raised another issue. "I want to ask if you have any intention of learning how to cook." It left him stunned for a long while before he asked back, "What did you say, sir?" Lee Ha suddenly froze, realizing something he had overlooked before. "Wait a minute. Cooking? Increase a production skill? I don't have the chef job. I only have combat-related professions. But it's not as if there are no production jobs, since some people choose the warrior class to become blacksmiths. I heard those jobs have a pretty good income." He fell into a stream of thought. Wait, if that's the case, is cooking a basic skill or a production skill? It seems close to crafting, so it's probably a production skill, right? Could it be a skill related to butchering, gathering, agriculture, or fishing? I can learn two types. I can choose skills that are profitable for making money or ones that are helpful in battle. Cooking is a bit ambiguous, but if I learn it, I can sell food. I need to think this through to raise my stats, so all this effort doesn't go to waste. You immediately agreed to Kyo's enthusiastic offer. Of course, it's no big deal. So now, could you please let go of me, sir? He burst out laughing, his face full of satisfaction. Oh ho ho, excellent! A wise choice indeed. The one-day practical mini-cooking class. You have to confirm your participation, right? His intuition screamed a warning, a bad feeling rising in his gut. Participate in... what? Kyo's voice was divine again, as if preaching a doctrine. Cooking is creation. However, creation begins with the basics. Ha ha ha. It's only a one-day class, so it's going to be busy. Seeing the quest details appear, Leah finally let out a sigh of relief. Well, it's a game, so I guess I can learn it in a day. Just one day. I thought it was going to be every day. The man's expression suddenly became much more serious. All right, I'll stand by your side and assist you. Leah was bewildered. Assist me? Kyo's voice was firm and confident. Isn't the fastest way to learn cooking to just cook? I will enthusiastically teach you. Leah started to get a little interested, smiling slightly. All right, I'll give it a try. A moment later, while slicing ginger, he recalled his time in the army. I worked in the kitchen for quite a while during my 5 years of military service. I'm a decent cook. If it's just simple dishes, there's no problem. Besides, it's just for one day, so it's fine. The old man immediately noticed his distraction, pointing and shouting his lesson. What are you hesitating for? When you peel it, peel only a thin layer. Start by scaling it before you peel it. What are you doing? You've ruined the meat, haven't you? Should I cut off your finger as an example? What is this garbage? It all turns to crap after you eat it, so did you decide to just make crap from the start? Is this you doing your best? You don't need to do your best, you just need to cook well. Even a dog wouldn't eat this. Damn it, is this supposed to be roasted? You call this roasted, huh? Bring a priest here. If you perform a ritual on this roasted rabbit, it would probably come back to life. Kyo clutched his head and screamed tragically, his voice cracking in a crisis of despair. Oh my god, did I really agree to teach this dim-witted sleeping kid how to cook? If I could go back in time, I'd cut my own tongue out before agreeing to this. Leah had heard so much his ears felt like they were bleeding. Would this game be too weird if I shot an NPC? I want to shoot him. I really want to shoot him. He gritted his teeth and endured, trying again and again, patiently refusing to give up. Until finally, a somewhat acceptable creation appeared on the table. Kyo speared a piece of steak with his fork and slowly brought it to his mouth to taste. Let's see. He chewed, savoring the flavor. Leah's patience had worn to its absolute limit. His killing intent flared. If he insults me one more time, I'm going to shoot him. I'm really going to shoot him. I'll shoot him and then quit the game. Fortunately, this time, he passed. Kyo nodded in praise, but didn't forget to pat himself on the back for his contribution. Excellent. To think you could cook like this in just one day. It's because you had a great teacher, right? The system immediately announced, cooking skill learned. You can now use ingredients to make food. Leah's stamina was completely drained. His eyes were sunken, his face pale. I've been holding it in all day. Just one last time. All right. Patience. He forced a strained smile that could be considered polite. Thank you, sir. I'll be taking my leave now. He was worried because of the quest's rules. If his vitality dropped below 30%, he would be penalized. Leah's legs trembled as he staggered away. I can't believe it drained so much of my stamina. Madame Lu, who was sweeping, stopped her movements when she saw him. Oh my, are you leaving already? Leah answered, panting. Yeah, is it already closing time for the shop? She reminded him thoughtfully. Well then, you have to take your lunchbox with you. He snapped back to reality and reached for the lunchbox on the table. That's right. I have to take the lunchbox. But she quickly pressed it down. Oh. Leah felt like collapsing. Ma'am? What's wrong? I can't move at all. Madame Lu revealed her purpose. I have a favor to ask of you, Leah. Oh, ho, ho, ho. As soon as he heard that phrase, he shuddered. A familiar haunting thought appeared in his mind. Another quest? She flashed a brilliant smile, her tone leaving no room for refusal. You will accept my request, won't you? Oh, ho, ho, ho. Leah wasn't foolish enough to agree without knowing the details. How can I accept if you don't tell me what it is? She took out a lunchbox wrapped in red cloth. The atmosphere around her suddenly became strangely gloomy. Does our relationship really need such formalities? That action makes you suspicious of another lunchbox, huh? Just then, the system announced a quest. Sacred Grill Restaurant branch opening fee. Take this letter and lunchbox to Madame Doe in the city. You'll stock within 1 month. It came with success rewards and failure penalties. Lee Ha quickly skimmed it. A delivery quest. How is this supposed to be easy? The success reward. Why is it like this? It's the final linked quest. The reward should be huge. The failure penalty seems severe. He cautiously confirmed with Madame Lu. I just have to deliver it and it's over, right? She nodded firmly. Of course. Lee Ha still couldn't feel at ease. Madame Du, your sister, she's not some man-eating monster or a kidnapper who hides people in dark places, is she, ma'am? She burst out laughing, trying to paint a friendly picture of her sister. Oh my goodness, she's just a kid living in the city. Why would you say that? He didn't trust her at all, his heart full of suspicion. So what's so difficult about this quest? Just as Lee Ha had suspected, Madame Lu frankly revealed, humans. Lee Ha was stunned, his eyes wide with disbelief. Humans? She suddenly let out a heavy sigh. Ha! You still don't fully trust me. He looked down, studying the lunchbox in his hand. Is some assassin going to chase me down and try to steal this lunchbox? She used a light-hearted tone to joke, but her words sounded like something out of a horror story. That won't happen. Oh my, are you okay? The case of the mysterious murderer targeting the Sacred Grill's lunchbox. Her words sent a chill down Lee Ha's spine, making his hair stand on end. Don't make up stories like that. Madame Lu, completely unaware of the seriousness, casually corrected him as if it were nothing. I'm just kidding, you know? It's just for promotion. Oh ho ho. He was angry, but only dared to curse silently in his head. But why did it seem so real? After that, he calculated his next route. A straight shot to the capital is about 500 kilometers. Just walking all day would take 10 days. The path certainly won't be easy. Of course, it's not just a straight line. It would take at least 15 days. If I'm unlucky and have to climb mountains, it'll take over a month. In reality, it would only take about 4 days, huh? Anyway, I have to go to the Musketeer Training Center. It's also in the city. I wonder if I'll run into any trouble on the way. Then Lee Ha spoke up loud and clear. I'll accept the quest. Madame Lu immediately explained clearly. Lee Ha, thank you. This is a lunchbox made from golden eagle meat. This is the one for Madame Du. He was still a little worried, so he asked cautiously, but will it spoil on the way? She quickly reassured him in a confident voice. There's preservation magic on it, so it can be preserved for 3 months. Oh ho ho, of course it won't spoil. But I can't guarantee the flavor. Don't tell me you're planning to shatter the dream of a Sacred Grill #2 with bad-tasting food, are you? Lee Ha... Her expression turned dark and frightening, making Lee Ha tremble. No, of course not. Hearing his answer, Madame Lu was finally at ease and placed both lunchboxes in his hands. I'm counting on you. Oh ho ho. He could only manage a forced laugh. Yes, ma'am. And so he began the unpredictably dangerous quest. Before setting off, Lee Ha curiously opened the purple lunchbox to try it first. As he devoured it, he praised, Oh my god, this is so good. It's even better than the Black Angus lunchbox. This relieves all the fatigue from cooking all day. At the same time, his stamina increased by 1 and his agility by 3. It was named the Special Elite Lunchbox. The effect didn't disappoint. Lee Ha leaned back in his chair, full. His hand rubbed his round belly. If I could make this and sell it, it would be amazing. His attention was suddenly drawn to the remaining lunchbox. Huh? He picked it up, turning it over and over, studying it. I'm so curious about this one. Since it's a rare lunchbox, it must be much better than the Black Eagle meat one, right? It doesn't have any smell. Let's see what it is. Item information. Rare lunchbox. Contains all the secrets of the Sacred Grill. Any creature that eats it will become a slave to Madame Lu, the only state-sanctioned narcotic. Lee Ha was so shocked he broke out in a cold sweat. Stat increase of 20 times? Tradable? He frantically looked around to see if anyone was there. Are you insane? And it's a rare item, too! First, I have to hide this. Where else could you find an item that gives you 4 levels just by eating it? Then he couldn't help but think about its value. Just how much could this sell for? Lee Ha immediately opened the auction house to search for prices through other people's sales posts. His mind raced. 1 gold is mainly sold for 200,000. Elite upgrade, movement speed plus 15, one-handed sword proficiency plus 6, huh? This is insane. 14 million? Madame Lu's lunchbox has no class restrictions and doesn't need to be equipped. It's an item that raises your stats just by eating it. An item like this would be extremely expensive. Lee Ha swallowed hard, his hand on the mouse trembling with excitement. Even if I sell it cheap, it'd be over 100,000. No. I can sell it for 1 million in real money? 1 million? He looked up at the sky, muttering, 1 million, 1 million, but the treatment cost is 20 million. Getting 1 million now means I've earned 5%. But after that, he told himself to calm down and think rationally. Lee Ha, you're a sniper. You can't get worked up like this. If I sell this, my affinity will be 100% destroyed. As soon as I get to the city, I'll be treated like an outcast. But in return, I'd get a whole 1 million. If I abandon the quest, my relationship with the NPC will sour and everything will be over. I've never once thought about quitting this game. But if I quit the game now, I get 1 million. Damn it! Lee Ha clutched his head, fighting an internal battle. The sum of money was so large it made his heart pound violently, conflicting thoughts tearing through his mind. Unable to hold it in any longer, he yelled out in frustration, "But the reward for success should be something good, too! A reward of attending the grand opening is too vague. Is that reward worth 1 million? Maybe I should just sell it and betray them." Lee Ha gritted his teeth, trying to cling to the last shred of his morals. "No, I can't. I can't betray the program." He remembered Madame Lu's friendly attitude. "Our dear Lee Ha, make sure to eat your lunchbox while it's still warm." He tried to brainwash himself. "She's just an NPC. No matter how realistic she seems, she's still just a program. It doesn't mean anything." Lee Ha looked up and sighed, full of torment. "She told me to be careful of people. So she didn't mean I should be careful of others, but careful of myself, huh?" So conflicted. Just as he was at a loss, the door swung open. Kim Do walked in and asked gently, "Son, you're so young. Why are you sighing like that? Is something wrong?" He snapped back to his senses. "Mom, you're still awake?" She nodded slightly, her eyes filled with concern. "I came to get some water. Why aren't you sleeping? What are you still doing up?" He reassured his mother. "I'll go to sleep right away, Mom. Don't worry." She replied thoughtfully, "All right then. Tomorrow night I have guests, so I'll be home a little late. I've already prepared the side dishes, so make sure you eat dinner first, okay?" Thanks to his mother's unexpected appearance, Lee Ha's mood lightened. What was I so worried about? Just think simply. I can think more about it later, right? In any case, I have to go to the city. In the game world, Lee Ha pushed open the door to a shop and called out, "Shopkeeper!" Lewis jumped at the familiar voice and stammered a greeting. "Ah, Lee Ha! No, Mr. Lee Ha, you're here!" He rubbed his hands in anticipation, flashing a sycophantic smile. "Oh my, what products have you brought for me today?" Lee Ha shook his head and explained, "The herbs haven't been growing much lately, sir. I'm currently searching for them, so please wait a little longer." The man understood the basics. Of course, they aren't easy to find." This time, he came with a different purpose. "Where is the wholesaler?" Lewis flinched for a moment. He hurriedly lifted his coffee cup to hide his tension, muttering, "The sun has just risen. This is crazy." "I'm sure they're on their way. Would you like some coffee?" Lee Ha smiled politely, not suspecting a thing. "I'll have a little, thank you." In reality, he misunderstood Lewis's intentions. Is he trying to mock me and holding himself back? He skillfully changed the subject, asking something else. "Do you sell maps?" As he poured him a cup of coffee, the man replied, "Of course we do." He then probed for the price. "How much are they?" The man fluently recited the prices as if he had memorized them. "A map of the castle's vicinity is 80 silver. A map of the entire kingdom of Dovan is 5 gold. Lee Ha hadn't expected them to be so expensive. 80 silver to 5 gold. Lewis glanced towards the wall where an item was covered with a cloth and slowly explained, "Maps are high-end items to begin with. Of course, they're expensive. So high-end they have to be covered with a cloth." Lee Ha considered this. "So that's why people online print out area information and just cut and paste it all together. So making a map of the entire peninsula in this game is really no joke. Well, forget about buying a map for now. I can just earn some money and buy one later." Suddenly, a sound rang out as someone pushed the door open and entered, their voice booming. "Shopkeeper! The goods are here!" Lewis greeted him warmly. "Oh my, Popu. You're here early, aren't you?" He placed a crate in the corner of the wall. "I heard you were going to introduce someone to me today." Popu turned his head, flashing a radiant smile with teeth so white they were dazzling. "A merchant can't be late for an appointment, so I came early." Leah quietly faced him, his eyes glancing over, silently sizing the other person up. "So this is the guy, huh?" Though they had just met, the two shook hands amicably. With trusting eyes and relaxed smiles, they completed a transaction in just a few short sentences. "You seem to be the important one. Hello, I'm Lee Ha." "I'm Papu. I heard you're buying a lot of bullets. I just want to buy them at wholesale price, with delivery included. From now on, I'll be sure to deliver them carefully. I'm counting on you." In contrast to their cheerful atmosphere, Louis stood to the side, arms crossed, filled with anxiety and unease. Popu carefully confirmed the request one more time. "How many do you need?" "I brought 500 sets for now." Hearing this, Lee Ha was stunned. That many? No matter how you slice it, even at wholesale, 500 sets is over 50 silver. A panicked Louis jumped between the two, interrupting in a stuttering voice, Hey, I need to rearrange things a bit, so could you wait over there for a moment?" But before he could push him away, a confused Papu mumbled, "But it's only a few silver." Lewis's movements instantly froze, his whole face twitching with a guilty cramp he couldn't hide. Without hesitation, Lee Ha instantly moved in front of him. "How much is it?" He honestly quoted the price. "1 set of explosives is 4 coins, and bullets are 1 coin. Lee Ha's eyes turned cold, looking at Lewis as if he were a dead man. 4 coins, and that includes delivery?" He stammered, trying to make an excuse. No, that's..." His expression became incredibly fearsome as he closed in menacingly. "And you were going to sell them to me for 15 coins?" Breaking out in a cold sweat, he explained tremblingly, no, that's not it. I have to make a living too. Without a shred of hesitation, Leah opened the door to leave, tossing out a cruel remark. Go find the herbs yourself. Let's see if you get bitten to death by a rabbit. Louis collapsed to his knees, grabbing his leg and wailing desperately. Leah, wait. I'm sorry, I'll compensate you with something else. Just please let it go this time. Lee Ha glared at him murderously. Something else, huh? The man nodded his head frantically. Yes, anything. Gaining the upper hand, he sat down leisurely, crossing his legs on a chair and asking, Do you have a musket? Louis looked troubled. That's at the weapon shop. He continued his demands. What about armor? He still found an excuse. That would be at the tailor shop. Rings and necklaces are at the jewelry store. His tone was laced with ice. You said you'd compensate me with anything. Was that just a load of hot air? Finally, Louis had to bite the bullet and endure the pain. Fine, all right. Go ahead and pick one thing from this shop. Leah feigned kindness. In that case, I'll just take something cheap. I'll choose the map of the entire Dovian kingdom. Hearing that, the man was deeply shocked, his face turning pale. 5 gold. If you convert that to cash, it's 1 million. Tears streamed down Louis's face like rain as he cursed in agony. That thing is incredibly valuable, you robber. He calmly stood up. Ah, well. In that case, you can go find the herbs yourself. Oh, well, I'm leaving. Cornered, the man had no choice but to agree. You damn brat. Okay. Having reached an agreement, Lee Ha left satisfied. Popu even sent him off with a reminder, just deal with me directly next time. He estimated the cloth bag in his hand. This many explosives and bullets should be enough. Lee Ha recalled his guidance. If you use the shared bank vault, payments will be faster. He felt it was quite similar to the real world. It's like an online payment, huh? The receptionist processed the paperwork and announced, Your account has been opened. With nothing else to do, he suddenly remembered, It's been a while. Maybe I should call Ki-jong. He immediately opened a communication channel. Hey, Ki-jong. He quickly responded, Hyung, you're not asleep yet? Lee Ha smiled and asked, I have to earn money. What are you up to? He answered, distracted. I'm hunting with the members of the cooperative force. Lee Ha scratched his cheek, confused. Cooperative force? I'm so jealous. I'm level 12 now, so I have to head to the city. Do you want to meet up? This news startled Ki-jong. He's already level 12? You caught the golden eagle already? Lee Ha's tone was a bit boastful. That's right, I already caught it, kiddo. Ki-jong was happy for him. That was so fast. Anyway, congratulations. Hope you have a good life in the city? Oh, wait. You're at Candle Castle, right? Have you seen Lim Hwa-jong yet? Lee Ha nodded indifferently. Yeah, I've seen her. Ki-jong sounded quite sulky. Tisk, you should have contacted me. Lee Ha felt awkward. Are you in their fan club, too? Actually, before he could finish his sentence, the kid shouted angrily, Oh, for real? I have to take down that scumbag! Then he realized he'd let it slip. It's nothing. Lee Ha's face went pale as he covered his ears. Wait, what's going on? Ki-jong isn't the type of kid who curses. What's happening? Suddenly, unfamiliar voices were heard from the other end. Huh? For real? No way. My guild put a bounty on those two. You didn't know? Seriously? If I knew they were there, I would have gone and taken them down myself. He was confused by their reaction. Are you guys talking about those kids? Take them down? Ki-jong grew agitated. Kids? They're completely insane, man. You've never seen her use magic, have you? How can you call those ruthless people kids? They're she-devils, I tell you. Me and everyone in the magic guild were suddenly frozen. Everyone saw it. Everyone felt it. But we couldn't move. She just smiled while snapping everyone's neck one by one, like snapping the head off an anchovy. For 48 hours, we couldn't log into the game. So our items and levels dropped. Snapped necks and then a 5-day game access ban. If I get my hands on her, I'll tear her to pieces. Lee Ha could only sit there, enduring the eardrum's shattering volume. After venting, Ki-jong finally calmed down. Hey, I'm sorry for cursing. He sounded understanding. Don't worry about it. I get what's going on now. So, you guys are all fighting? Ki-jong added, It's not just my guild that's been hit. Forest Fire spends a crazy amount of money. It's like when a huge corporation sets up shop in a small alley. Everyone else is ruined. There are 5 guilds, including ours, allied together to fight those lunatics. They're about to hit 5th place. Lee Ha frowned gravely, a hint of worry in his eyes. Looks like some high-level people are involved in this. If I joined the Lim Sisters Guild, then I'd have to turn my back on Ki-jong. He was silent for a long time, finally letting out a soft sigh. I get it. I'll call you back later. On the other end of the line, Ki-jong was still obedient, his voice clear and warm. Okay, you go ahead. Lee Ha's heart felt heavy. He always kept a clear line. The game is the game, and reality is reality, but still. What kind of damn line is that anyway? Maybe I just shouldn't go anywhere for now. He ran both hands through his hair, so frustrated he felt like tearing everything apart. My head's going to explode. I was so happy to get an offer from high rankers. But with my cousin going through this, what am I supposed to do? Thinking about it now won't help. I'll just go to the capital, and whatever can be solved, I'll solve it there. I'll worry about it later when I have the time. Leah shook his head slightly, deciding to put his worries aside for now. He focused on opening the interface to test the function of the new item he'd received. In just a moment, his eyes lit up and he exclaimed, "Wow, this is amazing, isn't it? It's basically a GPS, just without the route finding. But the position and direction are precise. Back when I was in the army, I hated reading maps. I wonder if this can zoom in for a close-up. If you gave this map to a sniper, the game would be over in a flash." Lee Ha was fully equipped. Total assets, 27 points, a matchlock rifle, 3 buns, a lunchbox, 100 sets of ammo, and surgical medicine. He set off, humming a cheerful tune. "I know the way, so it's no problem. I don't have any money, but I can probably get some local sponsorship." 3 hours passed, but Lee Ha's steps were still as light as the wind. His body hadn't lost an ounce of strength. What would I do without my fast running skill? It's been a while since I've run like this. Suddenly, a warning sign appeared up ahead. The bold letters caught his eye. "Warning, area with frequent ambushes." Leah stopped in his tracks. So this is a forest with a lot of monster attacks, huh? I'd better be careful. Just as he finished the thought, a loud shout echoed from behind him. "Battle start! Target, brown bear!" Kim Hoa immediately activated his death taunt skill, holding a large shield horizontally in front of his chest. He met the pounce and its razor-sharp claws head-on. The ear-splitting sound of metal clashing rang throughout the forest. The bear, enraged, let out a deep guttural roar, its blood-red eyes glowing fiercely. It looked ready to tear apart anyone who dared to invade its territory. As Kim Hoa tried to buy more time, Jenna Kim rushed forward, tightly gripping her dual blades, their silver edges glinting. "They're getting more ferocious! Be careful, the green snake has appeared!" The two coordinated seamlessly, maintaining a solid defense while launching continuous attacks. It made for a tense battle. Nearby, a monk stood still, hands clasped, chanting a spell. Lee Ha watched for a moment with his arms crossed, then shook his head and turned to leave. He thought to himself, "So everyone has pretty diverse classes, huh? All it took was 2 shields to make it give up the attack?" Suddenly, the surroundings erupted into chaos. A terrified scream rang out. "The brown bear! It's here! If it catches me, I'm dead for sure!" The uninvolved bystanders quickly scattered to the sides, their faces pale. "Run! We have to run! Hurry up, let's get out of here! Double-check your equipped items." Kim Hua recruited on the spot. "Looking for members for the raid party. If you can cooperate, please sign up quickly." Immediately, a few people joined the group. "We'll sign up!" The man shouted loudly. "Everyone gather in one spot!" This situation left Lee Ha bewildered. Where did they all come from? Was this all planned? He rubbed his chin, deep in thought. A black bear, huh? To take down a boss, you'd probably need a raid party of 20 people. Without hesitating, he decided to retreat. But a raid party, no. If the party doesn't mesh well, I'll get caught while attacking the boss. Better to just give up quickly. But for a bear hunt, they've already got a tank and melee DPS, so it doesn't really affect me, right? That guy was still shouting his head off. "I am the great General Kim Hoa. Please join our party. We've already gathered 3 teammates." That strange name unintentionally caught his attention. What a unique name. Don't have regrets, just walk your own path. A knight in full plate armor and boots quickly stepped out to command. "The boss has appeared! Tanks to the front!" In the end, Lee Ha couldn't resist. "I'll just hide behind this rock and watch for a bit before I go. I'm too curious." They quickly assigned roles to each person. "Get into position before it arrives." Kim Hua acted as the party leader. "You, attacker! Don't hide behind your teammates like that! Get in formation!" Melee attackers stand a certain distance behind the tanks. Leah's lips moved, letting out a soft sound of admiration. For a hastily formed party, the composition is pretty good. Main damage, healer, melee attacker, tank. All the standard roles are here, so the ratio looks good. It's a bit of a shame there are so few mages. Kim Hoa announced loudly, "It's here! Prepare for battle!" Meanwhile, Leah leisurely kept a safe distance of about 70 meters, squinting his eyes. "Let's see what this boss looks like. I've hidden this far away, so I should be perfectly safe, right?" Just then, a party member raised a bow. A glowing arrow knocked and shouted, "I'll pull it over here!" From a distance, the giant brown bear stomped its feet heavily. The heavy impact made the ground tremble as if it would crack open. It opened its enormous mouth, and its roar echoed throughout the forest, unleashing a ferocious gust of wind. The group on the front line quickly lowered their center of gravity, trying to withstand the immense pressure. Even Lee Ha, who was very far away, his hair stood on end as the shockwave hit him. His whole body trembled unconsciously before the indescribable threat, his mouth stammering, "No way! I was so far away!" Suddenly, the system coldly announced, "Agonia Oso's roar." Unable to move for 2 minutes. HP decreased by 10%. Speed decreased by 30%. A sense of dread shot through his chest. The safe distance for magic is usually 55 meters. How did I get hit from this far away? Oso's giant figure stood tall on the battlefield, its heavy breathing booming like a drum. His whole body trembled uncontrollably, yet the corner of his mouth curled into a strained smile. It was as if he was trying to cheer himself on. "This is crazy. It's as big as a rabbit. Is that really a bear?" Lee Ha tried to muster all his strength to control his fear, but his stiff legs wouldn't listen. My legs won't move. Damn it, why do I have to feel this damn emotion? Even in a game? It would take another 2 minutes to dispel this strange state. Oso was still standing there, towering over them. Its eyes flashed fiercely, its hot breath like fire on his face, adding to the heavy pressure. If before, Lee Ha could leisurely watch the show, now his body was completely tense. His heart pounded as if it would leap out of his chest. I hope those guys can catch that monster before I get back to normal, Agonia Oso's roar. The system displayed the time. You cannot move for 2 minutes. It wasn't just Lee Ha, Jack, Now, and many others were in the same situation, their bodies trembling, their feet rooted to the ground. He roared in a hoarse voice, urging the tanker on. Hurry up, the bear is looking this way. Dispel it over here first. As the brown bear took giant steps closer, panicked screams filled the air. It's coming! Ah! A giant foot stomped heavily on the ground. Kim Hwa dropped to one knee, raising his large shield to block the swipe of its claws with all his might. The impact was so strong that his feet sank deep into the ground, his whole body shaking as if it would break apart. The members called out worriedly, Sir! Sir Leader! However, Kim Hwa was still knocked back, sliding across the grass and leaving a deep trench in the ground. His face was drenched in sweat, but his eyes still burned with determination. He roared out a command. We can still withstand 2 more of its attacks. Tanks, you'll be able to dispel this state then. Group up, and for the attackers who weren't hit, go help the other attackers. It's coming again. Oso's giant paw swiped sideways, aiming to crush Kim Hwa in an instant. He decisively used a life-saving skill, high protection. Its blazing red eyes flashed as it struck down hard. The next swipe crashed down on Kim Hwa's shield. A metallic clang rang out. After the terrible impact, the shield was severely dented and his whole body froze, his breathing ragged. Seizing the opportunity before the monster could strike again, he yelled out the order, Attack! Immediately, tens of thousands of arrows left their bows at once, tearing through the air like a storm raining down on Oso's head. However, its giant paw suddenly burst into fierce flames. In the blink of an eye, it incinerated all the arrows in midair, sending ashes scattering across the sky. At the front line, the defenders formed a row with their heavy shields. Trying to protect their comrades from the mountain-like pressure, Kim Hwa urgently commanded, Melee attackers, stand back and provide support! Tanks, get in position! While the battlefield was suffocatingly tense, 2 long minutes finally passed, and Lee Ha's penalty was lifted. He happily moved his arms and legs. Oh! If they play their cards right, they should be able to catch it, huh? Over on the other side, everyone was still fighting without a moment's rest. Leader, I need time to cool down. Next group, move up! He peeked out from his hiding spot. Looks like everyone's less tense now. Naya and Sun stood leisurely outside the battle, observing and chatting with Lamia. At this rate, they'll catch it in no time, right? Lamia, her hands still moving gently to maintain her support magic, joked back, Should I record a video? A raid video like this could earn some good money. In stark contrast to their leisure, Kim Hwa was on the front line, sweat pouring down his face. Everyone in the back, prepare your spells. When its health drops below 20%, we'll hit it with everything at once. If we don't, it'll use a different effect, and that'll be dangerous. The 2 who were called out pouted, looking annoyed. Geez, let's just see how it goes. We've almost got it anyway. Just take it easy. We're not slacking off, we're managing our MP. While Oso was heavily injured, its giant body groaning and unable to move, the groups took the chance to catch their breath, rest briefly, and exchange quick words. Everyone, get ready! Ah, the attackers are trying so hard, aren't they? Why's the mood so serious? Just hurry up and catch it. The weakness of a hastily formed party is showing, huh? Kim Hwa clenched his fist, activating all the remaining power in his shield. His shout echoed across the battlefield. Everyone, get ready. 21% left. Oso's giant claw tore through the air with lightning speed, slamming straight into the shield. He gritted his teeth, his body tensing up to withstand the fierce impact. From behind, an arrow whistled through the air. It lodged itself straight into the beast's shoulder, making it roar in pain. Immediately after, intense flames erupted from beneath its feet. Startled, Kim Hwa became alert and instantly commanded, 20%! Attackers, spread out! Oso's HP dropped to 19.9%. It went berserk. Its entire body swelled up, its eyes glowed red, and it opened its mouth wide, letting out a growl that shook the very air. The intense heat radiating from it was so strong it singed John's hair. Even from a distance, she burst into flames. She shrieked, frantically swatting at the fire. Fire magic? A bear can use magic? Shackley's shoulder guard is metal, but it didn't save him. In an instant, everyone was engulfed in flames, their bodies charred black. Agonized screams echoed everywhere. I'm on fire! Heller, just run! This isn't normal fire magic. The scene was pure chaos, drowned in red flames. Kim Hwa gritted his teeth, sweat mixing with the grime on his face, and finally gave the order. Damn it! Retreat! Everyone get out of here! Those who were already on fire writhed on the ground, their flesh burning black, begging in despair. Take me with you! Help me! But he ignored their fate. He led the retreat, coldly announcing, The party is disbanded. If you don't want to die, run. Kim Hwa's gaze suddenly swept across the area and landed on Leah, who was still hiding behind a rock, frozen like a statue. What are you still doing there? Didn't you hear me? I said run! He jumped, his heart pounding. I didn't even attack. He forced a friendly smile and clarified. I wasn't part of this battle, sir. Seeing that he hadn't engaged it and was still safe, the man warned him, in this state, the Agonia Oso will kill anything it sees. It'll take days to kill it. You should go somewhere else. Leah was stunned and asked for confirmation. It takes days? 10 days if you're fast, the man said, his pace quickening. Over a month if you're slow. Anyway, we're out of here. He panicked, shouting after the scattering crowd. Hey, wait! You people made it go berserk and now you're just leaving? What am I supposed to do? Weren't you guys going to capture it? He anxiously clenched his trembling hands. They said the journey takes over a month? Oh, God. Can they even turn this situation around? If I can't get to the capital, then that Kim Hoa guy, or whatever his name is. Golden flower, leaf, bud. I'll sell him out. No, I can't do that. I need to think rationally. Stop trying to run away. Leah took a long breath, trying to stay calm, and started listing his options. 1. Find a high-level attack party. 3. Sneak past the fire bear. He ran his hands through his hair in frustration. Neither seemed possible. And I won't be able to sell that expensive lunchbox either. In that case, I'll have to go with another option. In the end, he chose option 4. Just get it done quickly. Leah drew his gun, resolved to fight to the death. After all, if it took a month, both his mission and the lunchbox sale would be ruined. If he couldn't form a party, he'd just have to handle it himself. Its health is below 20%, so I have a chance. That other party already wore it down for me, so I have enough time. 1. He stood up straight, took a deep breath, his eyes wide as he focused on the giant monster in the distance. 70 meters, southeast wind, minimum velocity 2 meters. All right. 3, 2, 1. Leah decisively pulled the trigger. The gunshot shattered the night. The Oso froze, instinct screaming danger. It roared and turned its head back, and in that very moment, unintentionally exposed its weak point. The bullet embedded itself right between its eyes. The powerful impact made the colossal body stagger. Smoke rose from the still-hot barrel. Leah swallowed hard, his trembling hand tightening its grip on the stock. Inside, he was screaming, I hit it! I hit it in the head! Some distance away, Kim Hoa walked along, rubbing his chin thoughtfully. Maybe I should form a new attack party. 6 people? No. If we form a party of 7, it might be possible. Just then, a girl called out, Mr. Flowerleaf! Hey, Mr. Flowerleaf! He glanced at Lamia. Hurry back to the village. There's no time for idle chat. Flustered, she explained. No, sir. Please, look behind you. A moment ago, the person hiding behind the rock, I think he shot something. Skeptical, he turned to look in that direction. Shot something? Suddenly, Kim Hoa was filled with regret. A musketeer? If I'd known, I would have let him join the party when we were forming it. Since he hadn't witnessed it, he asked Lamia for details. Where did he shoot? Did it hit? She answered honestly, her voice filled with disbelief. In the head, sir. Right in the middle of its head. He quickly began calculating the benefits of a musketeer's attack power. This musketeer, he's good. If I form a proper party and let him join, we might actually be able to capture it. Someone else exclaimed in amazement. From over 70 to 80 meters? How did he even hit it? Kim Hoa silently agreed. To hit it in the head from that distance, he's got real skill, Nia-san mumbled, half in doubt and half intrigued. If we formed a party with that guy, we could probably catch it, right? Lamia was eager to try. We don't have many people left, so we have plenty of open spots. But then Kim Hoa suddenly turned and walked away. A cold voice cut through their hope. Stop with the useless talk and just run. Stunned, she asked again. But he already shot it in the head. The guy was completely unfazed. Pretty good, but that's as far as it goes. Nia-san looked bewildered. That's it? Kim Hoa calmly analyzed. It takes a musketeer a whole minute to reload. He just fired, right? He'll be dead within the next minute. Leah, completely unaware of their conversation, was still standing there in stunned disbelief. I hit it. Right in the middle of its head. So how is it still alive? There wasn't even a scratch on Oso's forehead. Its eyes blazed ferociously, overflowing with killing intent as a cold system sound rang out like a death sentence. Roar of agony. Oso the bear has entered a state of terror. You cannot move for 2 minutes. HP and stamina decreased. Leah cursed impatiently. Damn it! It got shot in the head and it's still alive? His body trembled as he struggled to move, but it was useless. Cold sweat poured down like rain as his pale lips mumbled in despair. I celebrated way too soon, and what's worse, that monster is targeting me. In front of him, the giant, flaming monster changed direction, stomping its way straight toward Leah. Leah gritted his teeth, tensing his body. His entire body trembled as he fought against the effects of Oso's skill. With shaking hands, he tried to pour oil into the gun's chamber. Damn it! Pour faster! Just then, another player lost his nerve. He screamed in panic, turned, and ran. Oso immediately roared as a violent flame erupted, engulfing the man in an instant. His body was incinerated into ash. The final look of terror was still etched onto his charred face. Horrified screams spread across the battlefield. Stay away! Run away! Help! Put out the fire! Cries for help echoed from all directions, mixed with the sound of chaotic footsteps. The giant monster paused, its bloodshot eyes scanning around in confusion, unsure of who to attack first. It was thanks to that moment that Leah bought himself some precious time. It's not coming straight for me? That penalty is making my hands shake too. But if it takes 2 minutes to reload, it'll kill all of them and then me. Casting aside his pride, he yelled with a hoarse voice, "Help me, sir! The leader from before! Can you hear me? I'm confident I can hit it, so please come and tank for me." But despite his pleas, no one appeared. Leah trembled with anger, gritting his teeth and muttering, "Damn it! Did he really just run off already?" His faint hope vanished. He couldn't expect anything from the others, who were only letting out heart-wrenching screams for help. Oso roared, and with every step it took, fierce flames erupted. It incinerated everything in its path. Any unlucky player who got too close was turned into a human torch. The distance between it and Leah was closing in. "At this rate, I'm dead." His heart pounded wildly and his breathing was erratic, but he tried to suppress his panic. His trembling hand tightened its grip on the gun. "It's okay, Leah. Stay calm. Let's just go for one more shot. Let's see if I can land 2 shots to the head at this range. Come on, there's only one target to aim for." His eyes locked onto the slowly approaching figure of Oso, its giant, flaming body like a walking volcano. Leah cleared his mind of all distractions, ignoring the screams and the chaos around him. The only sound in his ears was his own pounding heart. A gunshot tore through the air, shaking the entire battlefield. The shot made Kim Hoa freeze in his tracks. He immediately whipped his head around, his eyes wide with shock. Again? Oso was hit, its giant body staggering back half a step. Witnessing the scene, Nia-sun was filled with awe. "That's insane. That guy landed another shot," Lamia exclaimed in admiration. "Another headshot? How is that even possible?"